Welcome to this week's episode of Campbell and Jones Meet the Monsters, the podcast we chart the cinematic legacy of the classic monsters. I'm John Campbell. With me, as always, Brendan Jones.
John Campbell. John Campbell. John Campbell. I just did your name as a disco tune. Is that okay?
Absolutely. In fact, I'm gonna pull that out of here and make that my my ringtone now. Or I'm going to ask other people to make it their ringtone when I'm calling.
Yeah, it should be my ringtone whenever you call. I wonder who's calling me. John Campbell. John Campbell. John Campbell.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's the thing. And I'm going to pretend like we didn't say this before.
Yeah, we had some technical difficulties, so we have to record the first 2 minutes of this episode again.
But my question for you still remains.
Yes.
Whether it is my imagination.
Yeah.
Or is this film
a
complete and total embarrassment to everyone involved?
No, it is not your imagination. This is a movie, and this happens every once in a while when we watch these movies, where, like, multiple times during the movie, and also this thing has the fucking audacity to be about 2 hours long. How dare you?
Oh, it does.
How
and can you imagine
dare
this
you,
with
movie?
commercials?
Oh,
because this was a TV movie.
And there's a very good chance I was watching this, because I watched a lot of these TV movies.
I had never seen this.
This was a TNT movie. I watched a lot of those kind of cable things, and I will talk about...
I did watch TNT's Moby Dick with
Sir
Patrick Stewart.
Well, I mean, that hit two things, because I watch anything with Patrick Stewart. I can also tell you about I definitely, as a kid, watched the TV movie of the Canterville Ghost with him and Neve Campbell.
Yep.
Wow, that was another one that hit me on a few fronts, because also love Neve Campbell.
And why she hasn't had a bigger career has always been.
I don't know. And I am firmly, and this is a horror podcast, so I'll say it. If she's not in that next Scream movie, I ain't going.
You're not watching.
Oh fuck no. Are you
no
kidding me?
Sydney? No Watchy.
No, she's the main character of the franchise, and I'm sorry, I won't do it. And I really like the last one. But anyway, sorry. Yes, this movie is. But what I was gonna say is, multiple times while watching this movie this morning, I would just out loud go, "Oh, this is bad. This is bad. This is just." It just would hit me every once in a while. This is also one of those movies where I kept checking the runtime, and it felt like it had 45 minutes left for 2 hours.
Yeah.
Like, it felt like, how does it still have another 45 minutes left? This thing, and I'm hopped up on this one for a few reasons. When I went to find this movie, you can't rent it anywhere. So I now fucking own this thing.
Bob, why didn't you contact me?
I should have, but I did. Yeah, I do things that I didn't pay that much for it, but it's less the money I spend and more the fact that I can't get it off of my account now. I want it adding.
I know. It's always going to be there.
I know, and it's always going to say, I'm never going to watch this shit again. There are two movies I bought because I couldn't rent them, and the other one was that boring Charlton Heston mummy movie.
The Awakening?
Yeah, I have both. And that's another one. Every time I scroll by it, I'm like, God damn it, that movie sucks. And it just sits here. I mean, at least it's not a physical copy. It just sits in my thing, but it sits in my iTunes account. But I'm going, God damn it, I don't want this in here.
I love your despair.
Yeah, it just sits in the cloud, man. There it is. And forever it's recorded. He bought these pieces of shit. Because this one... I like the idea that they're going like, oh no, if you want this, you got to keep it.
Yeah, forever and ever. No, I found a piratey way to watch it.
Good, that's good. This is a 1992's Frankenstein. I don't know if we've actually.
Whoa!
Oh, did I miss off the title?
Well, I appreciate you doing that because it is so long.
Yes,
but really, the listeners should know the full title, which John has left off, is National Lampoon's Frankenstein, Cousin Eddie's Rampage.
Yes. I believe John Hughes did some punch-up on this thing.
I think he did.
Yeah.
Holy shit, that would have been
directed
so much
by
better
the great Harold Ramis. No, I would have loved that. You get Chevy as the doctor.
But you do keep the dialogue the same. The scene where he's with the old blind man and goes, "Shitter's full." Yeah. One of my favorite parts of this whole movie.
They knew that's what fans were looking for, right?
They're like, you don't do a Randy Quaid film without a shitter's full. So
here's the thing:
they gave the people what they want.
he is particularly bad in this, right? Like everybody's pretty bad in this, but I was embarrassed, and it's hard for me to embarrass
This is an embarrassment for.
But I'm just saying, like, there are many embarrassing moments in Randy Quaid's career, including basically his entire life now. But
yeah.
I was particularly going, oh no, because here's the thing, and I know he is Cousin Eddie, but Randy Quaid was a good actor.
Well, here's the thing.
He's great in many movies.
Even watching this, and even considering what a shit show his life has become.
Oh, good Lord.
No, that man is talented. But he was not right for this.
No.
And he is embarrassingly bad here.
Yeah.
And Patrick Bergin, who we both agree is no great actor, has been fine in some things.
Yeah. I was just watching.
It's weird watching this where he's not great, but he is giving it his all. He's one of the only things where I'm like going, his work here is okay, but this movie is terrible.
Well, I was gonna say, yeah, he is totally invested. Oh, but the part is so badly written.
Oh my God,
I mean, honestly, I think we probably have seen worse movies, but this is one of the toughest to watch Frankenstein movies. Get me back to Frankenstein Unbound, man. I'm telling you, give me Corman all day over this shit.
Yeah. This is one of those things where
there's not an ounce of fun in this. There is no fun to be had.
They've once again claimed how close they are to the source material.
Yes.
And yet they've made some weird changes that don't make any sense.
This feels a lot like that Phantom of the Opera we watched with Charles Dance.
Yes.
I think they're very much in the same boat. And by the way, apparently, according to the IMDb here, this thing broke records and was the most watched cable TV movie ever when it came out. And
you are shitting me.
Yeah, this was a massive success apparently, and you better believe it received 3 Cable Ace Awards. Oh
this piece of shit.
Yeah, and nominated for 1 Emmy for hair design. Interestingly.
Okay.
Yeah. But this Cable Ace Awards nominated for Best Supporting Actor in a Movie or Miniseries for John Mills, who is bad in this. Art direction and makeup, which I guess are okay. I mean,
no.
No, the makeup is not. The monster makeup is terrible in this.
It's terrible, and
also,
it's so weird.
I got way too close to seeing Randy Quaid's dick a couple times. I was not okay with that.
I was actually pausing and zooming, but
see if I can see Uncle Eddie's hog.
Pausing and zooming is, by the way, the new name of my autobiography. But no, this movie, for wanting to show us so much of the creature, even when he's fully dressed, you still see a lot of Randy Quaid. Not that that's a bad thing. The man is a giant. I see why you'd cast him as this character.
Physically, he makes a lot of sense.
But it is weird the choice they made with the makeup, which is all just head and neck, and then you're like, what about arms and chest? Because we see them all the time. Maybe are they not fucked up at all? No, apparently just head and neck.
It makes it well. I was gonna say it makes no sense because oh my God, there's so many things wrong with it. I don't even know where to start with this disaster of a movie.
There's so much wrong with it, and one of them is the medium itself. As in, this looks like a TV movie. No, it looks like a TV movie.
For about 5 minutes, I had some nostalgia for going, oh, I used to watch these kind of things on cable. Like I said, I may have watched this. I don't know. I watched a lot. Because I was just left unsupervised with a TV as a kid, so I watched all kinds of shit, and I would always be drawn to a monster thing.
Of course,
but there's also, I will say this: if I did watch this as a kid, I bet I'd turned it off because it's boring.
Yeah,
and I was bored the whole time I was watching this. I can't believe this thing is as long as it is.
When they touch on the key parts, the parts that everyone's waiting for.
Yeah.
You could say that maybe that is a mistake with any adaptation because people are so familiar with the source material. But why is the source material famous? Yeah. Because of these things. So you don't want to miss the boat. If you're going to do your creation scene, then wow us with the creation scene. It doesn't have to be over the top, but just make it dramatic. This thing is so.
This is
when
the
they've
worst.
reimagined the creation. It is over and done with in like 2 minutes.
It is the worst.
There's nothing dramatic to it.
And I guarantee that it's the kind of thing we talk about with the idea of the like, oh, and it does make weird changes, but the idea that, oh, it's so faithful. But even if it is faithful, it's once again without style, without any kind of energy or excitement. I mean, like I said, this thing, there is
and
not
the score of this thing.
Oh, the score.
Holy shit.
Oh, it's bad. It's TV bad.
It's TV bad, and it's trying to sell you on excitement that is not there.
Yeah, it really is. It's just like, hey, calm. I'm multiple times watching it. We're like, hey, calm down, score. All right,
calm down.
This is not that movie.
My eyes work. And because my eyes work, I'm not being fooled. There's nothing here.
I want to talk about the writer-director of this, David Wicks.
This is a writer-director. This is an auteur doing this. This obviously was a passion project.
Well, but okay, did you look up what this guy's other credits are, though?
No, I want to know.
This is coming at the end of a long run of these TV movies. All right,
nice.
Because he has just done Jack the Ripper, the 2-part miniseries with
that's a terrible one.
Michael Caine and Jane Seymour.
Yep.
And then
though she is one of the most beautiful women of all time.
No question. And as we've said, currently single, Brendan. So if anyone knows Jane Seymour, send them Brendan's info because her Brendan's info because I think that'd be a couple. I think you guys would be a power couple.
I think weirdly it would work.
Yeah.
Because of my nonstop praise of her.
Yeah.
And what lady wouldn't like that? And
then the next year after his, or the next 2 years after that, Jack the Ripper, he reteams with Michael Caine for the TV movie of Jekyll and Hyde.
Also terrible.
But that is also him with another stunning woman, Cheryl Ladd.
Yes, but not anywhere near the actress that Jane Seymour is. No offense to Cheryl.
Although Joss Ackland is in that, who I love. Very good character.
Joss Ackland?
Joss Ackland is, I know him immediately from Lethal Weapon 2, Diplomatic Community Detective.
Oh, yes,
But in a number of things. Very good British character actor. He's the bad guy in Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey. I'm just quoting the 90s movies I remember as a kid, of course. So Hunt for Red October. He's the like Russian premiere in Hunt for Red October. Mm-hmm. But Lethal Weapon 2 is a particular favorite of mine.
I understand.
But so he had done that. He had done Philip Marlowe Private Eye for HBO. Here's the thing. That Jack the Ripper 2-part miniseries he did in 88 is one of 2 Jack the Ripper miniseries this guy did. He also did one in 73 for the BBC.
Holy mackerel.
But what I'm saying is this seems to be indicative of this guy's, and then just a bunch of BBC series. He did direct for my beloved The Sweeney.
Oh, yes. There you go. I can see this guy as, he
made the theatrical movie of The Sweeney in 77.
He is a TV director, that's not bad unless you're trying to convince us that
I've seen something... that. I've never seen that Jack the Ripper one, but I have seen that Michael Caine, Jekyll and Hyde, and it's about the same quality as this in my opinion.
I've seen that too. Yeah, it's awful. It's awful.
Well, and actually, he really tried to get Michael Caine to play the creature in this. He really wanted Caine to play the monster in this. And I love Michael Caine, but he would have been just as terrible. As the monster, Caine is a terrible choice. Yeah, especially older Caine. And we're talking, 50-year-old Michael Caine. Once upon a time, not going to work. 1960s, 70s Caine as Frankenstein would have been good.
Sure.
But this is
except for Frankenstein is supposed to be, always has been a younger man.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying, though. Frankenstein, but back in his heyday.
Oh, back in his heyday.
That's what I'm saying. Like 60. Give me like Get Carter era Michael Caine as Dr. Frankenstein. I would have loved that.
Yeah.
That would have been great. But yeah, not, if he had done that back with Hammer or something like that, that would have been good. But this is.
And that creature was only 14 years old.
Well, and that's the other thing, too. I'm looking at this going, that Jack the Ripper, that Jekyll and Hyde, I'm going, boy, this guy got Caine at a real lull in his career there, man. That was not good. I
think it was basically like, we're filming right down the block from where you live.
It had to be. Are you available?
And he's like, yeah.
Those TV movies are so beneath Caine's talent. And he has ebbed and flowed in quality. There's no question. Michael Caine is a brilliant actor who's been in some of the biggest piles of shit cinema's ever seen.
It's true.
But TV, those were particular lows. That's even TV at that point. Good Lord.
Yeah.
Oh, God. I never saw his 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea TV movie.
I can't remember
Michael
if I did
Caine,
or not.
Patrick Dempsey. 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. Jesus
no,
Christ.
I haven't.
Ooh, Mia Sara, though.
Mia Sara, another lovely lady who, not a great actor, but man, is she intrinsic to my youth.
Yeah, man. I mean, both Ferris Bueller and Legend were
Sloane!
Huge. Yeah, but I was a big...
Legend,
I was a huge Legend kid, so... Because I was a kid obsessed with Ridley Scott, because I was super cool.
The visual on that is the visuals on that film. It's not a great story, but that movie is still gorgeous.
Go ahead and turn that sound down and just enjoy that. I you know what? I have watched that. I have watched and enjoyed that movie with the score isolated music track, and that movie is actually kind of beautiful that way. And I know it's not preferred, but I do love that Tangerine Dream score. I know it's not preferred by Scott, but I like the Tangerine Dream score.
All right, you guys work it out between yourselves.
Man, I will do anything not talk about this movie. Jesus Christ. So anyway, but this is
1992's Frankenstein,
and I'll tell you,
Turner television film.
And I'll tell you right off the bat, even this, I think we might have talked about this a little bit last week. Even as a kid, I knew, Patrick Bergen starring, this is lesser than. Because I also remember that Robin Hood movie he made the year before, which came out the same year as the Kevin Costner one, and was clearly the B version.
They tried? ?
They did try, and once again, that was an appeal because Uma Thurman was in it, who I loved.
Right.
And actually,
and I will say, I mean, every now and then, because I am former illustrator myself, visuals are important. Patrick Bergen looked more like what I imagine Robin Hood, like the dark curly hair, the mustache. Then Kevin Costner just does not look like Sir Robert of Locksley.
I'll give you that. I'll give you that. But the Bergen is not a bad actor, but he is not a leading man. That is my biggest. The guy just isn't that. You do have Jürgen Prochnow as the villain in that, though, who I fucking love. But and Edward Fox, they had good actors in it. It didn't have the money. It had a lesser lead. There are so many other Robin Hoods to watch. That one has really been lost to time, I think.
All I need and ever have needed, Errol Flynn. That's all I've ever needed.
Errol Flynn is so the platonic ideal of the character, right?
Oh my God.
I mean, it's just like that. He just came to life. That is still
the laughing rogue. Yeah. That's all I want.
That will always be the barometer by which every other Robin Hood is judged. No question about that.
Yeah. But like this is basically taking the place of. This is the platonic ideal of Mary Shelley's Frankenstein.
Can I read you something very disturbing here from the IMDb? Because
I'm ready.
I have to fall back on this because once again I was shocked when I started reading these IMDb reviews for this movie. This is much like our Phantom of the Opera one, but there's one review that in particular struck me just with its title. Where was this here? Let me see here. I got it. Okay. This is from D Tucker 86, who titles. I'm assuming his. I guess call me a sexist if you want, but women, do you really want to claim liking this? His review is titled "Boris Karloff Would Have Been Proud."
Holy shit, burger!
Yeah, that's right. People who know Randy Quaid only as Cousin Eddie in the Chevy Chase vacation movies would be astounded by his work here. He does a remarkable job.
No, that is true. They would be astounded.
He does a remarkable job of making the monster both scary and pitiful. Let's see. This is a great film, and with the exception of Karloff's version, is the best Frankenstein that I have ever seen.
Oh, God, this person.
And that guy's not alone. That guy is not alone. So I will occasionally, but that got me where it's just like it is Karloff Quaid, no question. I mean, look, we're going to talk about that, and a lot of people because it's rough. Once again, Bergen always kind of had these what we now call mockbusters, I feel like, because this is right around the Brana Frankenstein, and a lot of people on here really shit on that Brana version to talk about this version, and that Brana version has its problems, but it is leaps and bounds ahead of this thing. Jesus Christ, I'll take De Niro any day over Quaid.
It is a cinematic film.
It's a beautifully made movie.
Some of the visuals in that are gorgeous.
Because Brana's a great filmmaker, regardless of whether or not there's some story or casting issues there. That movie is stunning to look at and is quite a bit of it very exciting and at least has a life in it. You know, that's it's made with passion. This thing is such a TV version. But I just let people go, unlike that terrible Branagh version, I'm going, dude, you can criticize the Branagh version, but not when this is your comparison is what it should be.
And we will be, or at least I definitely will
I think I'm a bigger fan of that, but I recognize it has problems.
Comparatively,
these
people are just insane.
Completely insane. Like I said,
I'm worried about them, and I hope they have found peace with their problems.
It is just, because that guy at least says the 31 movie is better. There are people who say definitively this one above all, and we'll look at some of their reviews.
Jesus, sweet dancing savior.
I wanted to turn this off countless times. Like, really, I was like, God, if we weren't doing this, I would never watch this.
Yeah.
So let's start with the movie opens up. Boy, get ready for if you wanted a lot more stuff in the ice in a Frankenstein story. God, there's a ton of it here. It's like a third of the movie is out here in the ice.
Again, they're sitting there going, "This is it. This is what you waited for. This is the classic story." And we've
got the balls to really do it.
Device.
Yeah. And the framing device is fine because actually the Branagh version uses that. We've seen other versions use that. But it's more than a framing device. It's a huge chunk of the story. It's almost like that's the story, and the rest of it is just these flashbacks.
It's basically, you could just boil it down to the doctor is found in the Antarctic by people who are on an exploration vessel.
Yeah.
And he is chasing his creation, trying to kill it. It's trying to kill him.
Yeah.
That could have been literally the opening 5 minutes, but it's like 15 here.
Yeah.
And it's them going, who are those people? How did they get out here? We came on a ship, and there's no place around here for 1,000 miles.
Because they're chasing on dog sleds and
dog sleds with fucking sails attached.
Yeah, and Frankenstein's gets turned over, and he spills out of it, and these guys on an expedition they save him. I do love this scene where the guy goes, "Who are you?" And Patrick Bergin turns over to camera and goes, "I'm Victor Frankenstein."
All about that because, I don't mind a little bit of hokey camp in my Frankenstein.
I don't either, but
Lord knows I've seen a lot of hokey camp in Frankenstein.
Yeah, and we do enjoy those. In fact, this movie could have used more hokey camp, actually.
Yeah, this could have used a little hammer, to tell you the truth.
This movie could have used I'm going to toss the word fun out. I don't know. Jesus Christ.
I would have said a little hammer, and when I say that, I'm meaning both the film company and also the implement
a tiny hammer.
This film into shape.
Are you kidding me? Yeah.
But the thing that cracked me up wasn't him going, Victor Frankenstein. It's the fact that, all right, these people don't know you. So saying your name is not good. But also, he's near death in the Antarctic. But he actually says, Doctor.
He does.
Victor Frankenstein. I'm like, dude, all deference to your education. Wouldn't you just sort of go, my name is Victor?
Yeah,
I'm Victor. I mean, it doesn't. Your last name isn't going to ring a bell, and your doctorate is not going to matter in the Antarctic.
When he says Dr. Victor Frankenstein, I really want Jaimin Hansu from the beginning of Guardians going, "Who?"
Yeah, exactly. Who am I supposed to know you?
Yeah, because it did have that. I wish, once again, because I've got a comedy brain, I wanted the Runner where they keep calling him Mr. Frankenstein. He would go, Doctor. Like, even when he's, like, severely ill in under the blankets, he's like, Doctor.
Yeah, lest we forget, I'm a doctor.
And they're rolling there like, oh, God, this fucking guy.
But, so he says the name, and then we get the title, and...
how much of this movie is Patrick Bergin severely ill? Like, it's insane. Because they pull him out of the ice, so he's recovering under the blankets here inside the ship. But then even when we go to the flashbacks, he has cholera for a good 20 minutes of the movie.
Yes, that's true.
I'm just like, my God, this is what I wanted, a sickly Frankenstein.
A sickly Frankenstein. And one of the, okay, all right. I'm gonna get to it.
But this whole episode is us going, I'm sorry, I gotta fight through this rage.
Yeah, pretty much. But the changes start almost immediately. That's all legit. The opening, that's from the book, whatever.
Yeah.
Then we cut to, here's what I love. In the book, Frankenstein is a young rebel.
Yes.
And his theories are dangerous. And his professors don't even know about it. He's keeping it secret because he knows they're heretical and all of that. Here, this is literally, he's a professor.
Yeah.
So he's not one of the students.
Well,
and in
Patrick
fact,
Bergen's
they treat him like a fucking rock star here.
I had to look this up. He's 41 in this movie.
Yeah.
That's old to be Frankenstein.
It is.
And also, but he looks it. There could be a 41-year-old who maybe looks younger. I mean, Cushing, I think, was older when he was Frankenstein, but he didn't.
Of course.
Didn't read as a middle-aged man. Bergen reads as an older guy.
Yeah, and he is clearly an established professor.
Because
with students.
He's passed over for a grant here at the beginning.
Yeah, it's like the Medal of Scientific Advancement or some kind of nonsense And what's funny is it goes to a guy who's a theologian for some paper he did about religion. And this is the writer of this thing going, ooh, look at me getting my digs in. It's like, his students, Frankenstein students who are all present for this ceremony, can't believe that their Professor Frankenstein got passed over. So they're like, boo! And they start chanting Frankenstein. And then they take him out of the place on their shoulders.
Oh, that was the best part. That was the best part when they took him out on their shoulders.
This movie, everywhere Frankenstein goes, by the way, everywhere, he is treated like a fucking god.
Which is
like his family is like, oh my god, he's here. His fiance, oh my god, it's Victor.
Such a strange choice. It's like they've read the book and he's a major figure. He's a celebrity. Yeah. But there's a couple things in this movie, like the where I'm going like, ooh, there's almost a good idea in there. There is the beginning of saying something that we don't even want to, because I'm going like, oh, that's kind of interesting. Like the idea of them going, that's not even science, that's religion. Oh, well, now you're onto something, because there is always sort of this, now I know what it is to be God and stuff like that. But then the movie just doesn't deal with any of that ever again. Because once again, and this is tough because we've said it, but the worst monster creation we've ever seen in a movie. There's nothing. It's nothing. I can't even believe it. It is. There is no effort to do it. It almost seems like.
No.
And then it is immediately just like he's just out of there.
The whole idea is, and again, when you see the writer's pride, that's always a dangerous thing. When you can actually see this guy patting himself on the back for his brave new take on Frankenstein, the story, that's almost never good, because the brave new take here is, all right, so Frankenstein very quickly, after losing that prize, his friend Clerval, who, again, in this movie, is his buddy, but not his assistant. In this movie, he's a poet friend of Victor's. So he immediately is like, I haven't seen you in so long. And we've already seen that Victor Frankenstein is trying to help people with cholera. So he's a good guy. He's a good doctor.
You might even say he saves the cat.
Yeah.
To put it into Blake Snyder parlance. I did think that when he's helping the people and they're talking about, man, you're not even supposed to be doing this. And he's like, these people need help.
And I have come up with a saline solution that can cure their cholera if they'll only listen to me.
But I will say for 1 second, I got very excited about something, though, which is this is Lambert Wilson as Clerval. And I am a huge Matrix fan. And this is the Merovingian from the Matrix movies.
He's the Merovingian.
Yeah. And I love him in those movies. He's such a great bad guy in those movies.
Those movies have their problems, but yeah, I liked him too.
He is a very grandiose character. He's kind of the Dracula of the Matrix, right? He's the sort of vampire king inside the Matrix. So I was excited. He is not used effectively here at all. No, because Clerval is a boring part to begin, or can be if it's not written well, and nothing is written well here. So
Yes.
And throughout the whole thing, Clerval has this like subplot where he has his own love interest, but it's always just kind of over here, like also.
Well,
and it's a lot of like most of it happens off screen, like
most of it happens off screen, and she's used for a pretty grim purpose toward the end. That subplot is so weird, and again, totally introduced. Talk about a movie that went 2 hours long. We could have saved some time by just getting rid of this plot.
Well, he's
no
got
offense to that actress.
David Wicks has got to fit that 3-hour block on TNT, right?
Yes, and he did. So essentially, Clerval looks up his buddy, says, "You got to get out of here and go back home because Elizabeth misses you, and you're getting sick. We need to protect you." And he's like, "Okay, but I've been working on some great experiments. Let me show you them." All right, so we're almost 20 minutes into it at this point.
Yeah.
And at the I'm following along going, this is set-bound TV movie crap. I'm already thinking this, and I'm like, I'm not enjoying it, but this is sort of stolid and boring. It's just the story.
Yeah.
And then we get a cat snake. So at that point, I'm like, fuck me.
We get a cat snake and a porcupine rabbit.
A porcupine rabbit and a cat snake.
And they look like garbage.
They look like stuff that the Henson factory came up with for the storyteller and then said, that's a fine first draft.
Yeah.
Go back.
Yes, it's a prototype from the Henson company.
Go back and fix that.
I think the cat snake, I swear it's an Ed Wood thing, and it's just Bergen moving the head. I really do think
yeah.
it was just him going, look out. Whoa, this thing's out of control.
I think they did say, like, Pat, can you, he's like, no problem, got it.
Yeah.
Did you not see on my resume it said under additional activities, puppeteering?
Right about this same time, I've been rewatching a lot of my favorite 90s thrillers. And Patrick Bergen, right around the same time, actually this exact same year, he's in Patriot Games with Harrison Ford. So
yeah, where he's fine.
He's very fine as like the fifth lead.
Oh, he's very fine.
He's the second bad guy to Sean Bean in that movie.
Yeah.
And that's fine. But I was just thinking, like, coming either way, coming from that set or to this one or whatever, he has to be going, well, I was just on like a major movie, and he's got to know.
Do you think he did not think this was going to be awesome? I have a feeling he probably thought this was going to be awesome.
Well, I think, I'm sure because he's the lead in it, he's happy to have that. But he's got to know this is not a Paramount Picture Harrison Ford movie, you know.
This is so embarrassing.
He also did Sleeping with the Enemy, if anyone remembers that movie the year before.
Well, actually, that was a big hit for him.
That was a big
Julia
hit,
Roberts,
and he was the main villain in that.
And he was. I think he plays good villains.
I
Not
do.
that he's bad at that, but
fine.
here,
yeah.
You've got saintly Dr. Frankenstein, and he shows Clerval the snake with a cat head and the mutant rabbit with porcupine quills, and Clerval is like going, "This is against God. What have you done?"
Well, I'm way with him. This is way more disturbing than Building a Man.
Yeah, and then this is where the writer, again, you can hear him cracking his knuckles going, this is a bold new take on the Frankenstein myth. Because Clerval goes, how'd you do it? And then we get the lamest pseudoscience where Patrick Bergen's Frankenstein says, all of life is just made from the same molecules, the same elements. And then he pulls a sheet off of a big tank of dirty liquid.
I've filled this tank with those molecules.
Yeah, it's like all the elements are in that tank. And it's like, so that's the raw matter of life?
I took this to be them trying to get closer to the novel, where it's kind of alchemy.
Where alchemy. Yeah. And I'm okay with that if you don't do lightning and so forth, but you still need drama.
Yes,
and this
I was going to say,
none of it.
If anything, this shows why they did go more dramatic in the other stuff, because I'm going, boy, if this is quote-unquote truer to the book, fuck, it's boring, man.
Well, the book is very vague. Jumps over.
The book is very
vague. The book
jumps
over the creation and gets right to the creature.
Something a book can do that a movie can't.
Right.
And here, though, this movie kind of tries to do that. It gives some lip service, and then it's just this thing appears in a tank.
It's a tank of, it looks like tea.
It does. Yeah.
And then Patrick Bergen.
Clerval dips a cup in there and is like, English breakfast.
Frankenstein goes to a separate table that has these brackets set up that he puts his arm into, and he uses they're electromagnetic somehow. It creates an electromagnetic field, puts his arm in there, then activates it with electricity. So electricity does play into it.
You can't resist it too much in a Frankenstein movie, right? You can only...
And he grimaces, which is the good prequel with what will happen with Elizabeth, but he grimaces like, I just have to concentrate, and it does hurt a little bit, but look over in the tank.
I mean, let's be honest, it's taking a shit acting, though, from
It is taking...
Right? Oh, God!
I really should have...
I need more fiber in the diet!
Should have cut back on the cheese.
Oh, no.
He's really backed up here. But the thing is, supposedly, you put something within that electromagnetic field, you concentrate. That's bullshit. Yeah. And within the tank, it starts to create a simulacrum, however you pronounce it, of his arm inside the tank. Yeah. And Clerval's like going, holy shit. And he goes, that's my arm. Look at me wiggle the fingers.
That's one of my favorite things.
So I've created a copy of myself.
That's one of my favorite dialogue exchanges in this when he goes, what is that? And he goes, that's my arm.
That's my arm. Get it?
And I go, Clerval's like, no, I really actually kind of don't get it.
And Clerval again goes, this is sort of scary and against God, but you're my friend. Wow, that's kind of interesting. And when Clerval leaves, basically saying, we are going to get you packed up and get you back to Ingolstadt.
They're throwing that around a lot.
Then when Clerval leaves...
Because everybody's very German in this too, right? Oh, no, wait, no, they're not. Or Austrian.
No, they're not. Yeah,
they never are. Matter. Nobody ever tries to play him as his correct nationality. Not once, not ever. No. I don't think we've ever seen a version that's tried to play him as German or Austrian or,
Yeah, or I think actually he's supposed to be Swedish.
But it doesn't matter. Of all people, I'm surprised lover of accents Kenneth Branagh didn't do it, though.
Oh, that's true.
Because that dude I love how much he thinks he's good at Russian, too. That's one of my favorite things is he's multiple times played Russian baddies. And I love it because it's not that he's bad at it, but I just love the like James Bondian kind of like over the top. I'm a Russian evil guy, Kenneth Branagh.
I'll say his American's pretty good. I still love Dead Again.
Yeah, his American's very good. I even think his Perot accent is kind of fun.
I still haven't seen those.
Perot.
I don't want to. But anyway, regardless,
I like action hero Perot.
I know you do.
Yeah.
So in this case, when Clerval leaves, now Frankenstein's like going, but I didn't even show him the best part, and pulls the sheet off a different tank, and his experiments went. How did he do this, by the way? I mean, because when Elizabeth lays down that thing, Frankenstein has to run all the equipment. This means that Frankenstein laid down on the full table version of the brackets and operated the shit while he looked like he was trying to take a shit. I'm just trying to imagine him sitting there going, making a body.
Well, that's the thing that's crazy and really damages later in the movie why it's so difficult to do it with Elizabeth. When it seemed real easy, he's just like, haha, I already did it.
Yeah.
Here that I'm that really damages the drama later.
Yes, and he stops going, you just seemed like you were really hurting.
That's my problem with the whole movie is all the rules and everything they set up. It comes and goes depending on what they need of the story.
And they don't work. The rules don't work.
Because across the board, let's get into the biggest thing. Because there's this, it's created from him in this whatever alchemist manner.
Yeah.
They are connected.
They are the biggest
two but
swing.
One. And once again, it's the biggest swing, and I go, that is interesting. And that's an interesting idea.
Yeah, it is. It's just done terribly.
It's done terribly, and it is done so inconsistently. Because there are so many times when I go, well, wait a minute, why didn't he feel that? But he did feel this, but he can sense him here, but not now.
I love the way late in the movie, it's almost like you can hear the director going, well, they're going to ask this question. So he just goes, I knew at that point the bond had broken. I'm like, yeah, I would imagine, because you seem to be okay considering the fact that your spiritual twin just got totally fried, but you seem okay.
But why? Like, why is it breaking and then
I know.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's just like, well, and keep in mind, once again, writer, director. This is this guy's own script that he's going.
I know.
Jesus Christ.
This is his shining achievement, this guy.
Did you see that in his IMDb? Because he actually believes that.
Oh no, I did.
Oh,
I just watching this could feel that.
Oh no. I let's see. I'll find it here. It actually is in his IMDb biography that he considered this his masterpiece. Yeah, they talk about that. Yeah, well, yeah. He considers this his finest work.
Yeah.
Because it broke records for TNT, and he was proud of the awards.
I don't want to mock the man. This is just...
He is still with us. I will say David Wick's still alive, and has not directed. This is the second to last thing. This is the last movie he gets to direct.
Oh. That's a shame.
He directs one episode of something called C-15 in 1999, which is some kind of British spy show. Sure. And then that's it, man. That is it. Sure. Ooh, wait a minute. What is this? C-15, Edward Woodward. Well, I may have found a new show.
Okay, let it go, man. If it's this quality, anyway.
He only directed one episode. Come on, but I love Edward Woodward.
I love Edward Woodward. Oh boy,
Edward Woodward.
You can really get tripped up on that name.
Yeah,
Edward Woodward.
Yeah.
Anyway,
this could have used somebody of his talent. Jesus Christ.
This guy, so as you just said, because you jumped to the main,
well, because I think
big idea.
Yeah, I think that's just something to keep in mind as we talk about the rest of the movie and stuff like that. That's the big. This is their big twist on the story,
right? And so, but here is the creation scene. It's literally the fact that Clerval leaves, we see the full body in the tank.
Yeah.
And Victor's just like, okay, well, if I'm going to Ingolstadt, I'm going to finish this right now, because he's almost ready. And he told Clerval the whole point of this experiment was to create a new man who, yes, is connected to him, but is better, bigger, stronger, healthier, immune to disease. So he's going to be a perfect man.
Which part of me goes like, that's a bad call. I mean, immune to disease is one thing, but bigger, stronger? How do you not see the events of this movie playing out, my friend?
Well, we don't know. It could have. Here's the thing that drives me crazy too: is that the heel turn of the creature becoming evil
makes no sense.
It makes no sense because of what we've seen. He's a sensitive soul until 1 second. Then he's like, "Fuck everyone," and
burn it down.
All the things he does, pretty much, almost all the murders until the very end are accidents. And in also fact, the creation.
Like, he actively doesn't kill people who harm him all through the beginning of the movie.
Right. And this, the doctor's creation, as in what goes wrong, is not his trying to be like God and getting his comeuppance. This is also an accident.
Yep.
So, in other words, the creature could have been okay. This isn't stitched together corpses. This is a perfect body, but poor old Dr. Frankenstein gets the coughing fits because of his cholera, and he stumbles into equipment and basically accidentally fries the dude in the tank.
I just love the idea of Frankenstein with coughing fits leads to trouble, but it's true. Yeah, it is.
He basically, you hear him say, oops. It's basically like that.
Oh, no.
It's an oops moment.
Oh, dear. Yeah.
And the creature comes out malformed because of this botched.
Shit. Yeah, I slipped on something. Oh no! Well, that's the whole problem.
The doctor just goes, "My bad."
It all
seriously, my bad.
It all feels like that. They take away what is one of my favorite parts of the Frankenstein story, which is the procedure of it, the process of it, watching him work to build the monster. It takes away all the ghoulish, gothic aspects of collecting body parts, which is so key to the whole thing. And it really makes him seem, he's almost bumbling. It's like, I kind of figured this thing out. I kind of then made a guy. I kind of fucked him up. And then I was just like, oops, I'm out. And you're just going like, he is not likable, nor is he like Peter Cushing evil either. He's just sort of this guy going like, well, I seem to have stepped in it this time.
Yeah, it's like, it is just a whoops performance, and that is not what I want.
And this isn't even Bergen's fault. This is the script's fault.
He's not even really arrogant, which you don't have to be. I mean,
he doesn't
need to be driven or something. He's not. He's like, let me just finish this up before I go see Elizabeth.
I do love the idea about, let me just quickly finish up my work here building this perfect man. I'll just knock that out tonight. But I was going to say...
So Randy Quaid with weird face shit and being totally naked falls out of the tea.
And like I said, we come so close to a dick shot. I can't even believe it. There was a second where I went, oh, no, please, God, no.
And he just gets up.
Yeah.
And Bergen is he even awake at this? No, he does see him.
He does see him, yeah.
But basically, this isn't even the doctor's fault because the creature immediately just goes, ah,
yeah,
and runs out. So it's not even, because in the book and many of the movies, the doctor is so shocked by his own creation, so disgusted, that he is the abandoning father figure who's like, I don't even want to deal with it. I'm leaving town.
You know why that works is because that's a character beat based on emotion, and like it gives you something to play. Well, I was gonna, it just and instead it's just, and then we get, oh my God, if you want half naked Randy Quaid just wandering about, that's like half the movie.
Yep.
It's just him going,
oh God, that even before we get to him speaking, and him speaking is
terrible. It's a bad version of Karloff and Bride of Frankenstein.
I hope he left it off as real. It is the worst acting I've ever seen the man do.
It really is. I think this is the worst.
Cartoonish.
And once again, a guy who I have liked in many things. Even when they talk about those who only know him as Cousin Eddie, I go, well, that is iconic, him as Cousin Eddie, but he is a good character actor. I mean, Independence
and a great
Day?
Dramatic actor. He can do it all.
Well, I'm looking at his IMDb.
Except for he's lost his fucking mind.
Well, yeah, but I mean, just clicking his IMDb, it comes up like best known for. I go, oh right, he's great in Brokeback Mountain, like
yes,
or even something silly but a different thing like Kingpin, and I mean, a movie, an underrated gem that I love is The Ice Harvest with John Cusack, and he's a really good bad guy in that movie.
Yep.
He was always solid. But
here he's
until he wasn't.
I want to protect Lacey Nice.
And that's what you're talking about. It's
embarrassing.
That is, I am watching it going, oh no, don't make him do this.
Me too. I was like, no.
But keep in mind, we could have seen Michael Caine do this. That would have been 10 times worse.
I don't think Caine ever really could have seriously considered.
No, it was offered to him. They didn't say that he was interested, but the guy had already, he had already done Jack the Ripper, Jekyll and Hyde. I'm sure he was like, "How about another one, Michael?" And he was like, "Not this one, because I could actually see Caine wanting to play Frankenstein, and actually, this Frankenstein he probably could have done if he was a professor and stuff like that. I guess he could have been.
Yeah, if they're gonna make him not like the young rebellious doctor, sure.
The problem was I should have made him the size of a tangerine. That monster was only 14 years old.
Was only 14 years old.
My
God bless. Oh God, what's his name?
Oh, it's
the other guy from The Trip,
Rob Brydon.
Thank you.
Yeah, brilliant, man. Just watch The Trip, everybody. Don't watch this. Watch The Trip.
The Trip is
watch any
hilarious.
Any of the Trip movies are fucking hilarious. And actually, if you can get the full British versions when they were multi-part TV things,
before it got turned into one movie.
I mean, the movies are great too, but like it's that, but more in the TV versions is hilarious. All right, so he fucks off back to Ingolstadt at this point. He goes,
he's like, well, my creature got away.
Whatever.
Oh well,
I've loosed this on the world, so I'm out of here, man. Because in other versions we've seen it, but he already thinks it's dead. What was the one we saw where like he thought it got destroyed or something? But here he knows it got out, and he's just like, well, that's your problem now. Bye, everybody.
there was sort of like a regret thing of like, I screwed that up. Oh, well, I wish him luck.
Yeah.
And then he's just
Jesus
out.
Christ, I hope that works out.
And he's like, I am just looking to get back with my fiance.
I mean, that's
cousin.
the thing. It's not even that he's sinister, but he is kind of a prick that he would just leave that and then lies for so long in the movie before he finally admits, yeah, I made a monster.
Listen, I wasn't totally honest about what I was up to back there.
But he's such a passive Frankenstein. It's so uninteresting to watch. He's just kind of wandering. And then once he gets to Ingolstadt, well, number one, he's dying of cholera this whole time here.
Yeah.
But what I was going to say, he seems to have no ambitions anymore. He's just like, oh, well, I guess I'll just hang out here.
Well, he's like, well, as long as I'm going to go back and see the family, that's all I'm going to care about is hanging with my dad, my cousin, who I am going to bone if I haven't already boned.
Yeah.
I'm going to hang out with my younger brother, who's... the younger brother looks like he's 22 and sounds like he's 11.
You nailed it. I had to look up he is actually 22 years old in this movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Well, I had, because I looked, I go, this guy has to be in his 20s. And I looked it up. Yes, he's exactly 22. But he's going, oh, Victor, I'm your baby brother.
Yeah, he's like, Victor's home. Oh, it's wonderful.
Boy, another horribly embarrassing part in this movie.
No one gets out of this alive. I mean, even incredible actors like John Mills, you're just like, what the fuck?
Oh, John Mills.
Everyone is terrible.
The guy who played William does not have a ton of credits on his resume.
That shocks me in a way that I can't.
He really seemed like a pro watching this thing. Man.
I was gonna look him up next and try to do his whole filmography.
I will say his filmography mostly consists of bit parts in BBC productions and this. And apparently, what was his involvement in Purple Rain?
I didn't see it.
He was a PA on Purple Rain.
Oh, nice.
Oh, that's really interesting. Apparently, he comes from the Royal Shakespeare Company, though, and he's currently works as a theater director in the West End. So, I guess it worked out for him.
Maybe it's in his blood, and great. And if he's behind the scenes,
dude, I just want to hear stories from the set of Purple Rain.
Yeah, he's probably got amazing stories.
I need more Stay in the Time stories. That's all I know.
Yeah.
Forget Prince. I really am all about Morris Day.
Well, I gotta say, that is a case of a supporting character and actor, as in musician, who almost just walks away.
Unquestionably. I mean, that is. I remember seeing that movie and going, well, yeah, I already know Prince is great. Tell me more about Morris Day and the Time.
Yeah. And I would love it if this guy, when he's talking to his buddies at the RSC, is like going, actually, if you listen close to Jungle Love, I'm actually in the. They had me in the studio. You can hear me going, oh-wee, oh-wee, oh. I was there.
I think I wanna know ya. Great song, man.
Oh-wee, oh-wee, oh.
Purple Rain is a trip. I don't know if I can say it's a good movie, but it is a trip.
It is a trip, and basically it's all about the musical sequences,
which are fantastic.
When they happen, they're all unbelievable.
And that soundtrack kicks ass.
Oh my god, one of the best of all time.
Absolutely.
John?
Yes.
I only want to see you dancing in the Purple Rain. That's all I wanted. I mean, we're friends, but I only want to see you dancing in the Purple Rain.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. And but I will be doing that more Stay in the Time. Oh-wee, oh-wee, oh.
As well you should.
So the monster is... you gotta love he's just out wandering about grabbing stuff, and some soldiers come up and go, "Oi, what are you doing?"
This is what I love, and okay.
And we're talking about we're in broad daylight.
It's typical of almost every version, but the monster right off the bat, no matter how good or bad the makeup is, in every one of these movies, I guess it was a different time, the 19th century, because everyone is automatically going to shoot this guy.
They are so quick to turn to guns. It's insane.
Yeah, it's not about like, that poor disfigured man, or maybe he, whatever it is. You would think there'd be a moment of pity. Instead, they're all like, "Monster, kill it!"
Yeah, that's always like immediately, beast from hell, destroy it, destroy. Oh, later.
And I get it.
Oh my God, when we have Justine going, the devil, I saw the devil.
Her plot, and again, I don't know that actress. She's attractive, and I don't think she's bad. I don't think the Elizabeth actress is bad, but
yeah,
what they're given to do, it's horrible.
Very similar career to for the woman who plays Justine to the William kid. Just lots of like one episode appearance. She's in an episode of the Poirot.
Did she also do a lot of theater? I bet she did a lot of theater.
I think so. Yeah. Oh yeah. She was in the British. She played Cosette in the Palace Theatre London production of Les Miserables.
Les Miserables.
That's pretty good.
I mean, I'm sure she's doing
she still does act to this day. Like she was just in some. She was just in an episode of Endeavour.
You know, again, the whole thing of like, can you describe who attacked you? It was the devil. All that stuff was just no.
It's. I mean, it's the real person
who can
to blame.
Survive that?
The real person to blame here is David Wicks, the writer-director, because it is the writing and the directing. I think all of these people, and most of them we know are capable actors, but he's got real-deal trained theater people and stuff, and he's just having her go, the devil, I saw the devil! Yeah. Or having Randy Quaid just go,
weird thing with the local priest going, she's possessed, and you're like, oh, are they going to burn this girl at the stake?
I will say going, that was another moment though. That was another moment where I got briefly excited. Where I go, exorcism scene.
Basically, you're sitting there going, anything?
Yeah,
anything? Are you about to give me something?
Yeah, I'm like, can we call Max von Sydow now?
Yeah, I need an old priest and a young priest.
And then I stopped this movie, watched all of William Friedkin's The Exorcist, and came back. No, I should have, man. That would have been more pleasant.
Of course.
Because that's a great movie. I mean, that was the thing I thought about this, too. This movie's indicative, and I think that Phantom of the Opera is the thing. I think we've seen this in a lot of these TV movies. I think it's the Louis Jourdan Dracula. This idea of going, no, we're going to be classy, not scary. We're not making a horror thing. We're making a classy literary adaptation. Movie. And I just kept thinking that. I go, because at every turn, they don't even try to make it scary. They don't try to make it exciting.
There is one disturbing sequence in this. And I will credit it when we get there. There is one sequence, and I could tell that Wicks was like, yeah, this is the one that's going to nerve everybody. It's effective.
He's where I get him good.
It's an island in a very boring non-horror horror film.
Yeah. Oh, it's not a horror. I mean, that's the thing. But I think that's the sense I get from a few of these TV adaptations where they go like, we're the classy literary adaptations, right? We're not making cheap monster movies. We're making serious-minded adaptations of classic works. And you're going like, get that idea out of your head, folks.
Yeah.
Because that way is death.
Well, I completely believe to this day that you can take this story with all of the themes that Mary Shelley put into it.
Yep.
And also make it a genuinely eerie, frightening film. Because we've seen it done before. Frankenstein is so overdone, but you just need to be good.
Yeah.
You need to be, no horror. And you can make this stuff sing.
I love the idea of it going like, guys, if we considered making it good, would that be it's just a suggestion. Threw it out there. We'll see.
I just want to,
could be interesting. Could be an interesting take. It's very good. I don't know. Like it's just, but it is. I mean, I think just coming off of Bram Stoker's Dracula, that's kind of what I'm talking about. You don't have to go as far as Coppola with the stylization, but the idea of going, I'm going to try to make a more literary version of it, but also indulge in the blood and the insanity and the pulp aspects of it.
Yeah. Amen, brother.
Instead, we get a lot of
You're preaching to the choir.
Oh, I know. We're in agreement about this stuff. So I do just write down, everyone is psyched Victor is home. You talk about him not being arrogant. This guy doesn't have to be arrogant because everybody loves him.
That's what I'm saying. This movie, I've never seen a take on the Doctor like this, where he is treated by everyone as the second coming. Everyone
weren't you waiting for the guys blowing the horns? It's him. I mean, this is getting back to his Robin Hood. Robin of Locksley is back.
It's true. This is so overdone that it's just ludicrous. And Elizabeth is so happy to see him. The brother William is so happy to see him. Dad brother. Is too. They never even go like, so your research is, or we heard some interesting things you were up to. It's just like, no, we're not even going to address it.
Hey, straight up, son. You make a monster?
Yeah. Instead, this is literally like, how was your summer? Mm-hmm. And we heard you were sick. Glad you're here. By the way, now let's get you married, okay?
No,
let's just focus on Elizabeth.
He's still sick because Elizabeth will nurse him back to health. And that's their love story montage.
Yes, even though I was ill, it was the greatest summer of my life. Mm-hmm. Oh, I got all of the attention.
Oh, and you get the scene they think is... Man, they really tried to write this like kind of Hugh Grant sort of moment for him where he goes, I'll say it simply. Will you marry me?
Oh, she's like, I have something I need to say to you, Elizabeth. She's like, what is it? And he goes, 4 little words.
That's what it is.
And she's like going, is it shut the fuck up? And I mean, she kind of makes something like that. And he goes, will you marry me?
Yeah.
And then what I did like,
I'm going like, that is terrible, but I'm going like, you need somebody with way more charm to pull the, and I did start to go, Hugh Grant would have been a good Dr. Frankenstein. I mean, nobody would have been good in this.
Absolutely right.
But I think particularly this era, that 4 Weddings and a Funeral era, Hugh Grant, I think, could have really crushed a Frankenstein role.
I agree, because that guy surprises when you see him, where it's like, we really did put him in a box.
We really did.
A lot.
I mean, that's why I am loving the career he's having now as an older guy. Now that he's aged out of leading man roles and he's become like a character actor playing villains and stuff, I'm going, holy shit, this is the best work he's ever done.
Word to your mother.
And I always had that thought about him. I would always go, oh, he's cute with Sandra Bullock, but I know this guy's a real deal actor.
Yep. And every now and then he gets to show it off.
Yeah.
So in this case, though, it is just this. Again, he does that. I was sitting there just because I was hating this movie. Yeah. And I was like going, I would love if she went, I have one word for you. No. No.
And then
I like you and everything. Yeah. I like you.
I'm sorry.
Do some Pee-wee's Big Adventure. Yeah. I like you.
Yeah. I mean, you're very nice, but I am not sexually attracted to you. I'm sorry.
And you're my cousin. But
I mean, that of course was the time, right? It was sort of like.
Also, they do include the thing, and it is in the book. She is a cousin in name. She was adopted because her family died, and they brought her in and took care of her.
The other thing,
it is still creepy that they grew up together, basically like siblings, but now they're gonna bone.
The other thing that is very true of this time, and even going forward a little bit, is like you also just kind of married whoever was around.
Yep, exactly.
that I love is like, well, he lived down the street, so who else was I supposed to marry? Not a lot of people, especially out here in the country. There's nobody around.
He was from the next town over.
Isn't that kind of who
I went shopping.
Justine, who Clairvaux gets with, isn't she like just the woman who lives down the road or whatever?
She's a friend of Elizabeth. Lives down the road.
And so it's just like
is the right age and is attractive.
Victor marries Elizabeth. He's gonna marry Justine because it's just like, well, we're all in close proximity. We're all about as attractive as each other, and this will work out just fine. You know who has no part in this is Baron Frankenstein at all.
Oh no!
I mean, nothing. The father has almost to the point of why even include him, except for just, you've got to, I guess.
He gets to be grieving. That's the whole thing. Is he gets to grieve multiple times.
Yeah. Yeah. Then he's unceremoniously killed, of course. Because we'll get to it. When they kill him, it's just like, oh, he's dead. Never mind. We got other stuff to worry about. Here's one scene that, once again, almost clever, which is when the girl falls in the water and the monster saves her. Like,
Yes.
that's almost, I go like, oh, that's a clever idea to do a turn on the classic thing.
The creature is never far from Victor, and again, the concept of them being linked is not a bad concept. So that does explain why the creature would have been close to Frankenstein Manor, is that he's constantly kind of following his master without knowing it.
But I will say they missed the obvious ending, which
of course,
he should kill himself to kill the creature, right?
Yeah.
Instead, it's
he kind of does, because he's
we're
both going.
I know,
we're
both going, but that would have been the case even if they weren't attached.
Sure.
It needed to be I shoot myself in the heart or whatever. The end of, spoilers if you haven't seen it, I guess, but the end of Looper came to mind for me.
Yeah.
When he shoots himself in the past to eliminate Bruce Willis. Very cool.
Looper doesn't work at all. If you really give the time travel thought. But I love it.
A brilliant sci-fi movie.
No, I love it, but it doesn't work at all as far as the logistics of time travel. The whole, like, oh, I cut my chin and then a scar shows up.
Oh, it's so cool.
It's like, yeah, but like that, it should have been there from. Oh, anyway, regardless.
No, it's back to the future time travel.
Sure.
But I like that.
My name is Calvin. Anyway, so in this thing, what you're talking about is it is a good, clever twist on what you're expecting as an audience member.
If the rest of the movie was good, this would have been. I would have been like, oh, clever.
The creature is watching kids playing in a river, and they see him and freak out as they would. The little girl falls in, and you're like, yes, of course, you got to have the drowning little girl. But the creature goes out and saves her, overheard the other kids call her Amy, and in his terrible creature speak, he goes, hey, me. And she's actually smiling at him like, you saved my life, and I know that you're a gentle creature. But grown-ups with rifles have shown up. Uh-oh, monster is fucking with the kid. Shoot him! Shoot him!
Oh, I love the
whole scene.
The whole time he's saving the girl, you just cut to this guy taking aim and pulling back the hammer on his musket, and you're like, oh, for the love of God.
I know. Really drawn out.
And then,
a lot of these scenes are, and you're like, why is this so drawn out? We know exactly where it's going.
But then he gets shot, and God damn if it's not the funniest part of the movie when Patrick Bergin flies across a living room because he takes the impact of the bullet too. Oh my God, I laughed because he's like, oh, wow! And he flies over a table and stuff.
And they're all like, Jesus, you are sick. And then he looks under his shirt and there is a dark wound where the gunshot would be.
And then he goes, in the narration, he goes, it was as if a knife had hit me. I go, or a bullet.
Or, possibly even a bullet.
I thought that was...
And I'm pretty sure that's what happened.
I also like the idea of it would not only just hurt all of a sudden like he would do, but the idea that he would take the force of the shot and it would hurl him across the room.
Yeah.
That is completely silly. That is so goofy.
I want to run this by you.
Yeah.
Silly or awesome?
I enjoyed it.
No, you're right.
I was gonna say I enjoyed it. I don't think for the reasons that were thought of, but Jesus Christ, I laughed so hard when that guy took. I mean, because it's all Bergen just going wow and launching himself across the room, and you're like,
yep.
And everybody kind of writes it. Everybody's like, Jesus, what happened? He's like, no, it's fine. They go, all right. Nobody's ever too concerned in this movie. That's kind of
it's kind of true.
This whole movie is just on a simmer. Like it's all. Just
I will say that weirdly, when he finally does tell everyone that he created a monster, they're concerned a little. They're like, "Oh, you shouldn't have done that," but no one's like going. Again, call the priest. You are in league with the devil. They're more concerned about poor what's her name when she starts yelling about the devil than the guy who has admitted. That he created life from nothing.
No, they're just kind of like well, we know you have the best of intentions.
Yeah, so, we know that's just more of your science.
Hey, don't worry about it, son. Things happen. Things happen.
I love every time Clairval or someone, even the father.
Yeah,
it's like they can't go. You've broken the laws of God or something. Something poetic.
Well,
they always
classic
go,
stuff. Yeah.
Curse you and your science.
Your goddamn
using
science
as the shout out. Curse you and your science with your sciencey ideas about sciencey things.
Victor and his science. Always with the science.
Always with that science.
Yeah. Oh, is he on again about his science?
That's So Victor. And then the logo comes up.
That's So Victor, coming to CBS Tuesdays this fall. You'll never believe the antics Dr. Victor Frankenstein gets up to. Actually, I can't believe there hasn't been a Me and My Monster sitcom that's like, now
you know what would be awesome?
Now I gotta hide this from the neighbors, and
because I've been watching this recently, what would be awesome is if they did something like that, a network sitcom about Frankenstein and his creature.
Yeah.
But they do it like Kevin Can Fuck Himself.
Oh,
where
yes.
you get the wacky misadventure, and then the creature walks through a door, and you're seeing the real life horror of what it would be to be that creature.
I would love it. And by the way, Kevin Can Fuck Himself, what a genius show.
It's a genius show, and I can only watch an episode like every week. I can't binge it because it is so dour.
Oh,
it is
no question about it. No question about it. But that is one
Annie Murphy, good Lord.
My God, that is a talented woman.
I mean, of course I loved her.
But when you watch Schitt's Creek and then that, you just go, Jesus, what can't you do? You are an immensely talented actress.
Okay. This is now that fan show.
This is always that problem. We end up talking about good stuff, Brendan. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it's almost as if we have kind of hit a wall with bad shit.
Well, so let's talk about the old blind man finding him here and taking him in.
We've
got to, right? It's just this is another thing that's like check it off the list.
Check it off the list. But again, you hear Wicks. This is why he thinks it's his masterpiece.
Yeah.
Is he's like going, I took the bare minimum of what people were expecting and I expanded it. Yeah. Because we spend a lot of time with Blind Man Lacey. We get to really get involved with the relationship between the creature and him. That could be touching if it weren't so badly done.
Once again, I mean, it's all the case where you go like, your instincts on some of the plot stuff are right, for the most part. You're going like, yeah, that is an interesting idea to expand that relationship a little bit more, and okay, sure. But how about you do something interesting with it, though? Instead, it's just...
do something interesting with it and not do this.
Yeah.
And all it is Blind Man finds him because he's wounded. He's like, who are you? Can't you talk? And he's like, He's like, that's okay. He's like, yeah, he does a Scooby sound. And then
he might as well, man. He's damn close.
Blind old man's like, I don't care what you've done. If you're on the run from somebody or whatever, you seem okay and you're hurt. Let me take care of you.
I don't care if you are a talking dog who escaped a haunted house. You listen to me, pal.
I don't care if I have to feed you in these little biscuits. I
don't care if your stoner best pal has to stay here too. All right. Like Zoink Scoob. Man, I could have.
We couldn't find you, Scoob.
I could have used a Scooby and Shaggy cameo in this thing. Jesus Christ, anything to liven it up.
I would have taken it.
I do like that at the end of the day, our big note is don't make this movie.
It is. The big note is take your ideas to a better writer.
Yeah.
And a different cast.
It's a page one rewrite, my friend.
Page one rewrite.
This thing needs a massive overhaul. Just go back to the book, for the love of God, this thing. All right, so he takes him in. We don't get to see, but apparently he's slowly learning to speak during this time.
Yes.
We allude to, it's in voiceover where they're like, oh yeah, and Henry met a woman and fell in love with her too. That also happened. Anyway.
Well, I mean, we saw her before. It's not like we don't know who they're talking about.
We know who they're talking about, but it's like, oh yeah, so those two fell in love at some point. Yeah, and just like,
maybe we'll have a double wedding, he says to Elizabeth, who likes the idea. That's great.
Boy, that goes in our sitcom, right? They do have a double wedding as long as that creature of his doesn't interrupt.
Oh, but he wants to be there anyway, so he pretends he's one of the caterers.
You got him in an ill-fitting tuxedo, going like, more shrimp.
Oh, shrimp puffs and the creature.
Honestly,
great.
It would be terrible, but I think I could sit down and write 40 episodes of this show right now without even thinking.
Yes.
I think I could easily come up with multiple seasons of storylines for this horrible show that would probably be a smash. Still.
Yep.
Yeah. Finally, the Frankenstein show we've been waiting for. Oh, for God's sakes. Okay. So yeah, let's see. These evil guys show up and threaten the blind guy. It's the same guys who shot him in the woods.
Yeah, we've had this in one of the Hammer ones where there's this local gang of toughs. Actually, I think that's been like 2 of the Hammer ones where it's like these guys just go person to person in this village and fuck them up.
Yeah.
But yeah, these guys come after the old man, and all it is
monster is.
Again, this is another thing where all of the motivating factors of this storyline are all down to bad luck for the creature, and that takes away a lot of the drama and horror. In this case, he and the old man would have lived happily ever after. He would have learned and all this stuff, but these people show up going, who's with you? What do you have? Is he a criminal? Are you protecting him? Will you pay us to keep quiet about him? They're just like shaking the old blind man down.
I know, and it's just like you said, it's not, they don't like track him because he did something, as you're talking about. It just is the bad luck, and it's just so dramatically inert. Like it's just nothing. It's a nothing movie. It really is across the board.
Other than that, it's pretty great.
Other than that, what a winner. What a delightful time of the cinema or your TV set.
I really enjoyed my 2 hours with this.
All right. So, this is when the old man's like, it's not safe for you here. You gotta go. It's like Harry and the Hendersons. Get out of here.
Yes.
We don't love you anymore.
I'm going to give you some coins. Good luck.
Yeah.
Get out of here.
Good luck, creature. I'll never forget you, boy.
And the creature does now rudimentarily speak. He's like, this is supposed to be touching, because the old man goes, well, you're all healed up and you talk a lot better now. It's time for you. It's not safe, so you need to go back home. And then the creature's like, but Lacey, I have no home.
I have no home.
I did do that a couple of times, actually, just in my apartment. Had to do a little Bela. And I would have much rather had Bela or Martin Landau as Bela going, I have no home. But instead we have
that would have been
Randy
good.
Quaid. Instead we have fucking Randy Quaid,
and it's
who, like we said, we like.
It's not even because it's not his fault, really.
No, this is just shit.
This is a shitty movie. Sorry, Randy, you're in a shitty movie. I don't know what to tell you.
Sorry, Randy. Everything you've said over the last few years is crazy tinfoil hat bullshit.
The Star Whackers. Remember that whole thing?
You got to watch out for the Star Whackers, man. If not, I'll say this: I'm grateful that he at least, tore the lid off that.
Yeah.
Because now I feel prepared.
They already got Heath Ledger. Remember, that was his big thing. They already got him, and he apparently tried to tell Dennis they were coming for him, but Dennis wouldn't listen to him.
I love the idea that his younger brother's like, Randy, I love you, but Jesus fucking Christ.
Oh my God. Yeah, Randy.
Stay away from my kid, okay?
Yeah.
Stay away from my kid.
Hey, Jack, it's your Uncle Randy. They're coming for you. They're coming for you.
I think we talked about this exact thing on a previous podcast. The idea of Jack Quaid getting a call from his crazy Uncle Randy.
No, I haven't managed to see the boys yet, but it's anyway.
But are you okay?
Yeah.
Has anyone been following you home at night?
Yeah. No, listen, your dad, I think he's in on it because he doesn't believe me.
Yeah, your dad's in on it. God.
Oh man.
Okay.
Where's Dennis Quaid? I could use a Dennis Quaid comeback. I would like to see that.
I really love that guy.
I
always
love
did.
Dennis Quaid. Yeah, he did have the goods as a leading man. That's what was always so interesting about them as brothers, I always thought, was like, Randy was an interesting character actor, but Dennis really was like handsome, charismatic leading man.
Just like the Bridges.
Yeah.
I mean, Bo is a fucking amazing actor, but Bo is the doughy, weird-looking one.
Yep.
And so he's a great character actor who can do anything. He's funny,
you just
he's
look at
dramatic.
Jeff and you go, that's a star.
And Randy, God bless him, he does look like people I knew in Texas.
Yes.
But he's a goony-looking dude. Mm-hmm. Character actor.
Great.
Dennis, handsome as all fuck.
Yep.
He's going to be the leading man.
And
he's got charm for days.
And apparently that charm is hereditary because his son by the way, the son of two very charming and likable
I know,
people.
And it is a perfect blend simply because, I mean, he doesn't look like a leading man like his dad, but he does have the chops. He has a lot of his mom's adorability, saying that about a man, I'm okay with. He's adorable.
He's got the likable everyman leading man kind of thing.
Yeah.
That's what he's got. It's different than his dad, who was like action hero leading man,
And this has been Quaid Chat with Brendan and John. Quaid Chat.
Coming up next, Dr. Frankenstein of the Monster. It's a wacky evening when his parents' anniversary is crashed by an uninvited guest.
And don't forget, 12th caller gets tickets to REO's Speedwagon at the fairgrounds.
Oh, yeah. I was always upset.
Speedwagon at the fairgrounds.
When I actually worked in radio, I was always kind of bummed I didn't actually talk like that on the air, going, oh, yeah, coming at you live from the place. You never did actually talk like that on the air. Coming up, a whole block of Zeppelin.
I got a whole lot of love coming up for you.
Yeah, that's right.
Whole lot of love.
That's right. It's 70 minutes of uninterrupted music.
Jesus.
Yeah.
So
okay.
this movie happened, and
I wrote down because he tells him to get away, right? The old man. Yes. And then somehow we just cut to he has arrived at Frankenstein's house.
Yep.
Where that is in relation to where the old man was, no idea.
Well, I think that he actually was pretty close. We saw him peeking out of the bushes at Frankenstein's carriage, right?
But we don't know where in the journey to Ingolstadt that was, to be fair.
That's true. But I assume that the creature is just homing in on the guy he has the connection with. So
the connection thing is the only thing that makes me go, okay, that's why he would know where he lives.
Right,
but also, they don't go into how much of the connection is like a shared telepathy versus they can just feel for each other.
Like the Corsican brothers.
Yeah, the big problem here is the inconsistency of this connection. Because like we said, it is an interesting idea that actually, if done correctly, could have made this stand out as like, oh, that's kind of the thing that sets it apart. But instead, you're like, man, it's so half-hearted. You have this idea, but you don't really do anything with it.
Yeah, that's true.
I think this guy might not be that good a filmmaker.
Whoa.
I know.
Dude, shots fired.
After that the best Jekyll and Hyde. I mean, I think... it's been a long time since I've seen it, but I remember finding it and going like, oh my God, Michael Caine is Jekyll and Hyde? This is gonna... And then like, oh no.
Watch Jack the Ripper and Jekyll and Hyde, which means I've seen more than I would like of this man's filmography.
I know. And actually... Speaking of Beau Bridges, this guy directed a Beau vehicle.
Nice.
If this thing will load, I can tell you what it was. Because there aren't a whole lot of times when Beau took the lead.
Very true. I mean, he did in his youth quite a bit.
Well, this is 1980's Silver Dream Racer.
Oh.
Do you remember this at all?
I remember the name.
Wasn't it? It's a motorcycle movie with Beau Bridges.
Yeah.
Ooh, Clark Peters from The Wire is in it.
Ooh.
Well, he's good.
Ooh.
Ooh.
We're on to something now.
Yeah. David Essex, Beau Bridges. This looks terrible. I should say, it looks like there were a lot of racing.
You're like, oh, this looks terrible.
Well, it looks like a lot of racing movies of that era. I was just watching Winning with Paul Newman. That's good. Oh. I like that one. But that had Paul Newman in it, so that helped a lot.
Yeah.
And Joanne Woodward.
Things.
They're both in that. That's a really good one.
Yeah.
But stick to that or Le Mans with McQueen.
Oh, sure.
That kind of stuff. I love a racing movie. Don't get me wrong.
I'm actually not that big a fan of it as a subgenre.
Racing and boxing are two things I could care not at all about in real life, but I love movies about.
I will say boxing, I'm with you.
Yeah, like I get so into a boxing movie, but I could care less about a real boxing match.
But
I like so many boxing movies. It's very exciting. Yeah.
We have to talk about
I know, and I'm just trying to go here.
Also, we have to talk about Kevin. And Kevin can fuck himself. Yay, we've come full circle.
And it all good. So, well, I think we're right about the scene where the monster, let's see, the monster is going to kill William because he sneaks into Justine's room? Is that right?
No, I think you're conflating because first thing is
well, because he sneaks into Elizabeth's room, right?
Right.
But then when he runs outside, it's Justine that sees him kill William.
Okay, yes, it's the outside part that we need to get across. Yeah, he ducks out, and William is on horseback delivering some Clerval. And
which they had mentioned earlier was how they were communicating. William rides the letters between the. So I think he is at.
Yes.
Justine's.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, very, very possibly. But regardless, it's another thing where he's pretty much innocent. The horse rears up because it's afraid of the creature. The creature is yelling at the horse essentially.
Yeah.
And William falls off and he dies. Justine sees this, and she's so freaked out by the creature, she is at this point loses her mind. Loses her fucking mind.
Full on goes crazy and then kills herself. That's her arc, everybody.
Her arc is that they try to like treat her and like, are you going to be okay? And what did you see for realsies? And she goes, I saw the devil. And they're like, yeah, but no, really. And she's like, seriously, fuck, it was the devil.
I'm telling you.
And so there's that fake out with the fake out with the preacher, and you're thinking they're gonna give her a witchcraft trial because he's like, she's possessed.
And the movie almost got interesting. Yeah, I agree.
No, they back out of that so that then you have basically Elizabeth leaving her with laudanum, like, this will just help you sleep. And then Justine's not in the plot for quite a while. By the time Elizabeth comes back, she's told, oh yeah, sorry, Justine killed herself with laudanum, the stuff that you left her. It's like, oh shit, the guilt.
Yeah, because they do. I did think that was so weird. They start a scene with the close-up on the bottle that says laudanum, and I was like, that's weird.
Well, no, I did think it's like, oh, she's going to OD, but they don't immediately do it. So it's like this afterthought. It's like, because we end up with the whole thing with the creature and Elizabeth, and then she comes back, and, the whole turning and try to create a bride. And then they come back and find out, oh, yeah, sorry, your friend committed suicide.
It really, it was really, really bizarre.
So William is the first the family to go. Justine has lost her mind. She's crazy. She's not quite dead yet.
Mm-hmm.
And the creature and Frankenstein finally reconnect. What I like about it is they meet up for coffee. It's very understated.
Mm-hmm. It's very
so
understated.
So how have you been?
No, I thought it had more of the tension of that Heat coffee shop scene.
Yes, yeah. They sit down and they basically go,
now that you and I been face to face,
yeah,
if I have to kill you, I won't like it.
Yeah, but I'll do it because it's my job.
Brother, believe me, you are going down.
Now I would have rather watched that.
I thought it was weird that also it jumped to that coffee shop in LA specifically to do it. I thought really bizarre.
I thought it was really strange that instead they jumped to Tom's Diner, New York, and suddenly they had this weird theme song behind it.
Oh my God!
What's the deal with the top button?
It's Jerry. It's Jerry as Dr. Frankenstein. Jason Alexander's the creature. Now we've got a movie.
I apologize to our listeners. We are just babbling. Let's see if we can speed it up because we both hated this.
Well, because now that this has happened and weird kid William dies, he sees the monster at the funeral, and then he tells everybody about the monster, and he's like, I gotta go track him down. That's what I gotta do now. Yeah, he's like,
I am so sorry. This is all my fault. It's my fault William's dead. And they're like, don't be so hard on yourself. You did create a monster.
Yeah.
And he goes, it is up to me. I brought him into this world. I'm going to take him out. And they said, too soon for a Cosby Show reference. And he said, I understand completely.
He goes through with the thing and the pudding and the pops.
No.
We're not allowed to do that anymore?
We're not.
So I see the police are here to arrest me now for that. Another
no, it's because you offered me something to drink. This is horrible.
No, it's supposed to taste like that.
Oh my God. Hey, John, I need to take a werewolf break real quick.
And I need to stop doing Cosby impressions, so we'll be right back.
Yeah, it'll give us a chance to reset, and I'm going to get something to drink.
All right, we'll be right back. All right, so we're back from the werewolf break, and boy, I could have used a werewolf in this movie. So could have used anything in this. Literally anything that comes up, I'm like, well, that would have made the movie better. Let's see. Yeah, so he goes in search. You gotta love Frankenstein shaking an old man down at gunpoint.
That is good stuff. Yeah, he goes on the hunt and manages to find blind old man Lacey.
Yeah.
And then he's like, where is he? I know he was here.
I mean,
I don't know what you're talking about.
We're getting back to Heat again, right? Tell me where he is. Come on. You got to tell me. Because that monster's got a great ass.
Ooh.
Yeah. It was just an excuse.
Like you took me there, and then you dropped me off and left me there.
Yeah. I mean, we did see. I think we do get a good look at that great ass earlier.
Yeah, it's true.
It's a great ass. Oh man, I could just imagine. I don't want to go off on that rant. I was just gonna say.
Oh, we haven't described the makeup. We normally do with the Frankenstein.
I mean, it's like we talked about. It's only head and neck.
It's only head and neck, and what they've done is
he's
veiny.
Yeah.
He's veiny. He's got what they did really with the neck, which could have been a good design if they continued it into the rest of the body, but they build up those what do you call that? That's on the trap. What are those things right there? Where your neck, the neck muscles are huge.
Yeah, I don't know what that is.
Not trapezoids, is it?
No, I don't know where it is. It's
anyway,
it's the neck muscle.
But
yeah.
The neck muscle. So he does look very powerful there, and then it's just lanky old Randy Quaid.
That's what I love about it. It's all built up in the neck and makeup, and then it just turns into this scrawny, tall guy's body.
And the thing with this is, again, no matter what his radical idea of rethinking the creation, when you take away the stitching and the different body parts, it is just about, this
still
poor
does
guy
have these
is
gashes in his head, and
yeah, it's just like he's kind of disfigured. Yeah. It's not so monstrous if you gave him half a chance.
This one in particular really does seem like, this guy's just been in an accident. It's not, but everybody's like, kill it, send it to hell. Oh God, why?
So it's not great makeup. So I'm surprised it won a Cable Ace Award. The thing is, I think back then, perhaps in '92, anyone could win a Cable Ace Award.
I don't even think the Cable Ace Awards exist anymore. They can't. There's no way. Let's see. I can't believe this thing got. I mean, it got nominated for an Emmy for hair, which is an interesting one. I didn't even know that.
Well, the creature does grow hair.
There's hair in the movie.
Well, he starts bald, then he gets over time. It's similar to the way they allowed. Why am I blanking? Because I'm old. Clancy Brown's creature to heal over time and start growing hair and all that kind of stuff.
man, still the biggest missed opportunity of the perfect actor in a bad movie.
I know.
Still upset about that. Okay, so he finds the old man. He's shooting a gun at him. And then he's like, I don't know, he left me, the monster left me. And then he's like, all right, I guess he's gone. And then he just walks outside, and there's the monster in the road. Oh, shit! Well, that worked out.
Now, again, Randy Quaid is a massive dude. You can see why massive as in he's extremely tall.
As we've talked about, physically, I understand the casting. He's kind of a bad choice, though. Acting.
I know. And they've clapped, like random furs on him, which makes sense.
Unless if you move the setting to Texas, then I'm kind of on board.
He actually looks like for half a second, it looks like they were trying to do the look from Monster Frankenstein, the classic Marvel comic.
Yes.
Because he had that big woolen furry vest and the strap boots that are just cloth strapped to his legs.
That's a cool take. We also have the furry outfit that's on him in Son of Frankenstein too. The
exactly. I think that's where they got the look for the comic.
Yeah. And that's fine. It's just
that's fine. But there's nothing wrong with it.
But as we talked about, the making it the alchemy thing really takes away a lot of the iconic stitching and stuff that we expect.
Yeah, exactly.
And so he's really boring to look at. He's not very evocative at all. This is one of
And again, he's shot in like this scene, which should be dramatic because they're meeting face to face for the first time since the creation.
Yeah.
And he's just shot like it's broad daylight, and it's like a video camera shot of him just standing in the middle of the road going, hello.
One of the big problems is way too much of this movie's in broad daylight. And so there's no style to it. It's just vivid, bright daylight. And you're like, man, that's a weird choice for a monster movie. That is a very weird choice.
Yep.
It's an easy choice. Because they're just
hit on it.
Well,
easy choice.
No need to bring any lights. Perfect.
Jesus.
Yeah.
But so they meet, and basically it's like, you abandoned me. He's like, well, sorry about that. What is it you want? And he goes, I want what you have. What does that mean? He goes, I want a lady.
Make me a lady.
But I also he goes, oh, that could have been a trans story. It would have been very progressive. Make me a lady. And then the doctor totally misunderstands.
By the way, how is that not a modern take on Frankenstein? He builds a man that wants to be a woman. Somebody's going to write that. Someone is going to write that movie.
Someone's working on it right now.
It's too obvious, man. It writes itself, much like that Frankenstein sitcom. But before that conversation, though, you do get the insane chase through the woods and then him hanging onto a tree over a cliff.
Oh, yes.
And going, you have to save me!
Right. So the doctor's already said, I came to get rid of you, even though you're trying to make me feel guilty about abandoning you. And then within 5 minutes, oh, God. All right, I have to point out this one bit.
Mm-hmm.
So what happens is the creature gets to not a really wide gap between two rock things. So there's a little bit of a cliff face on both sides, and he leaps over it, and it's the doctor who slips and is hanging on for dear life. But the way they shoot Quaid's creature leaping the 8 feet gap.
Yeah.
The music's playing it like this is the most unbelievable thing you've ever seen. And I swear to God, the framing and the slow-mo and the broad daylightness of it and the fact that they shot this probably in Burbank, this was exactly a shot from Bigfoot and Wild Boy. This was literally a shot from 1970s Croft Super Show, Bigfoot and Wild Boy, of Bigfoot leaping over a little chasm.
Not a thing you hear referenced very much, but if you are, you'll hear it referenced on this show.
Oh my God, I could talk Croft Super
shot
Show
on location in beautiful Poland. This movie, actually.
Okay, but it looks like Burbank, especially every time they're on these.
I don't care where they shot it. It looks like Burbank, and it looks like you're
Burbank.
Not wrong.
Feels like Burbank.
Well, the bright sunlight of it does give it that California glow.
Yeah. Again, they're shooting this. This isn't on film, is it? If it is, it's on the most video-y looking film I've ever seen.
Don't think it's on film. No. Tech specs here. Let me see. Sound mix. Oh, they claim it was shot on 35 negative. It may have been then dubbed to video. I bet.
Dubbed. Yeah. God, what a terrible choice.
Because this doesn't look 35 millimeter to me at all.
Nope.
This looks like shit.
It looks bright and flat as you would expect.
But now keep in mind, other people have a different opinion. Because here's a guy.
Now it's time for second opinions.
Kind of. Because here he goes.
Wrong.
Saint Ninja says, my favorite Frankenstein. And specifically says, this TV version is epic. It is not horror, though. It is not horror.
He's right about that.
It is a love drama.
A love drama.
It's a love drama with dark fantasy elements, and if you are into Mary Shelley, you should definitely watch this.
How wrong can a person be?
I just love the idea. If you are into Mary Shelley, this is it, baby.
If you've got a thing for Mary Shelley, and I think you know what I'm getting at, watch this.
Mm-hmm. Well, this is a person who saw the Frankenstein Unbound. Yeah. Okay. So yeah. No. So anyway, I just thought that was just like, and once again, it's that attitude. They would go, "This is not that horror shit."
Well, I mean, on that he's right, but it doesn't make up for it in any other way. If you want to do a full-on romance, you might be able to successfully do it, but this isn't it.
No. Well, we've seen. Once again, I think the Brana version leans into the romance aspect.
It does. It does.
Let's see where. So now he goes, "Make me a woman," and then they throw in, when you talk about moments you're waiting for, they throw in or I will be with you on your wedding night, and it really feels tacked on.
It feels tacked on, and also it is indicative of it's right around here. And I get that the creatures had a hard go of it to some degree, but he's also like, Lacey was a genuine friend, and he's basing all of his anger on his creator on this meeting. This is the first time they've met, but essentially, this is where he's becoming a monster, and it doesn't feel organic at all.
Yeah, no.
So he basically. He helps Frankenstein up, saves his life because he's begging for it. Yeah. And then Frankenstein says, what is it you want? Mm-hmm. And this is tying into the whole they're connected theme. I want what you have. Mm-hmm. What does that mean? I want a companion. I want a woman. And he's like, oh, I can't do that. And he goes, fine. If you don't, you'll regret it. Mm-hmm. I will be with you on your wedding night.
Yeah.
And that is one of those lines that you're like, oh, I hope they nail it. And his performance is terrible. It's shot terrible. It doesn't fit into the emotion of the scene. And it feels, as you say, tacked on because it's supposed to be there.
It is just like, well, you got to have him say that. Even though, once again, nothing about this guy's performance makes you think, the way he's been playing this character makes you think that he would say that.
Right.
And it's it's bad. It's poorly delivered. It comes out of nowhere, and it stinks.
I can't remember Jay Sherman. Thanks, Jay Sherman. It stinks.
Yeah. The critic. But okay, let's.
That's a show that people have almost totally forgotten about, but it was so great.
And they shouldn't, because it is so good.
It's so fun.
I love that show, man. I've got the DVD set of that, so and you should too.
I don't presently. I will probably get it at some point.
It's worth it, because that show is so fucking. That Siskel and Ebert episode is one of the greatest things I've ever seen.
All right, back to Frankenstein.
So. Victor's going like, I have to leave and get back to my lab because I have to make this guy a mate. And she goes, well, wait, you used yourself as the model for him. What will you use for this? He goes, I don't know. I'll find somebody. She goes, it should be me. Elizabeth is like, I should be the one that...
we were going to go dead body, and I thought that maybe it would be Justine.
Yeah, that seems like
for
an
half
obvious
a second
setup,
I thought they
right?
were going to do that.
Wouldn't that have been an obvious way to do that? You kill her to do that?
Except for they didn't do dead body with the creature.
No,
so.
I guess, but that just... God. Sorry, this movie really... God. Oh, my God.
Yeah, every now and then our podcast does feel like homework.
Yeah.
But this is what I'll say for myself with this, is I always... give it a shot. I went into this going, it might be good.
Like I said, I was like, well, Patrick Bergen, that's lesser than, but it's not like I went in going, this is going to be terrible. It was I was going, yeah, this could be pretty bad. I expected it to be cheap, sure, but that doesn't necessarily mean
I expect it to be
terrible.
a TV movie, but that doesn't mean it has to be bad.
No, because we've seen ones that are at least admirable, but it just feels like everything is lazy or poorly thought out in this.
Word.
Yeah. So let's see. So he finally agrees and takes it to the lab, and oh boy, this is another bad scene in this movie. Because he starts the process, and she starts screaming, and she's in so much pain, which is once again inconsistent with it seemed so easy earlier. He kind of grunted, but he had already made the body, and it was like, all right, well, there it is.
And they even do the setup where she says, how bad is it going to be? And he goes, well, it is uncomfortable.
Yeah.
So in other words, he has prepared her.
I don't know. She remember those times you ordered that burrito? It's about that bad.
And but then she lays on the table with the electromagnetic brackets around, and he gets the machine up and running, and she groans a little bit, and then she's like, ah, and he's like, oh my God, this is. And he stops because he's worried about her. That's very romantic.
Yeah.
But it looks like it was working. And then he's like,
we see the body starting to form in there, but he shuts that business down.
Yeah, because she's all hurty.
And then proceeds to, and this is the correct word, abort what they made, because we have to see it flow out in chunks.
This is the scene I said is the one effective scene in the entire movie.
Yeah.
Because it's genuinely disturbing.
Ugh, yeah. You're watching
and it's
partially
because
formed
of
body
the visuals.
Chunks. Yeah.
But it's also because of what you're saying. The inference. It is clearly like an abortion. And so what you're seeing is the tubes are starting to sluice out not only the tea, that is the broth that the people are being made in.
Yeah.
But then the body, which wasn't totally formed yet, is leaving in chunks. And it's pretty graphically done. And I'm not going to praise anything in this movie, but I was going, this is disturbing and gross. And yay on you, movie, for giving me one moment of genuine discomfort. But yeah, it's... I think he knows it because they stay on it a long time.
And also, yeah, I know he is going like, this will freak him out. But then we have Randy Quaid, of course, watching from the skylight, and he's like, no.
Yes, Randy Quaid, as the creature, was watching this whole thing, and he's smart enough to know this got botched, and they are now destroying the one who was going to be my bride.
Yes.
He's like,
but also, what they don't have is a scene where he's not going to ever try this again. Maybe not with Elizabeth, but it seems like, well, that didn't work once, so it's all. I guess can he not make more of the? Like I said, we need like another confrontation. I don't want to make the movie longer, but it does feel like there needs to be another scene before bloody revenge is enacted.
Right, they're also, if this is your whole deal, maybe make it to where it's full on killing her for some reason.
Yeah.
Because all this looks like is he says, no, this is far too uncomfortable for you. So I'm going to
Can I pitch a better scene? It doesn't have the thing, but as I always do, I'm going to try to make these movies better.
Good for you.
They have to cut the process off, and kind of similar to the other Randy Quaid monster, it's mostly formed but malformed and seems to be writhing in pain or something, and he has to, I don't know, shoot the monster or kill it, like physically
kill the bride,
murder,
shut it down,
physically end the life, not just file out and an unformed thing, but it literally is a mostly living being that we still see could not function, but all the monster sees is him killing the bride that was created for him.
Yeah, that's fine. But I was just trying to think of a better reason to shut the whole experiment down other than Elizabeth going, ouchie, ow.
Yes, that's another thing. Well, or
it's like,
I mean,
is it killing her?
No, I mean, that's another thing too. Or it damages Elizabeth somehow permanently. I don't know. I mean, any number of things that could have been in here that would have been better than this. It's just not there, man. It just doesn't. It is disturbing, the actual abortion of what they're making, but the impact and the turn to now bloody. I mean, he doesn't just kill Elizabeth; he kills the father. We see a guard impaled on the wall. He is on a fucking murder rampage.
That's a little bit later because they have to do the wedding first.
That's what I'm saying, though. But it's like it's a big jump to all of a sudden we have.
Yes, but what we see him do is show up and basically slaughter the entire household.
Yeah, I just thought that's a big jump, and I need another scene because I also go, like I said, he just goes like, "Well, then fuck it, I'll deal with the creature."
Yeah.
I don't know, man. It just doesn't seem to. Once again,
it doesn't work.
There's missing connective tissue here. It is. We talked about this earlier. The jump to this character suddenly being a murderous monster isn't. It's just not there.
It doesn't work.
No. Can we just make that the general review of this movie? 1992 Frankenstein doesn't work. Yeah.
No. It doesn't work on any level. Technical, creative, casting, visual.
It also,
I will say some of the costumes do. I mean, they spent some money and there's some scenes with lots of extras.
Ted Turner said, here you go, Frankenstein movie. You spend what you need. Y'all spend what you need down there.
We want you to have a quality product.
And if you want to watch something more entertaining than this, go on YouTube and look up that drunken yacht victory speech from Ted Turner, because that's entertainment.
I'm not even sure what you're talking about.
Oh, there was, because he was big into yacht racing.
Oh, I remember.
Yeah, well, and there's a video of him like his yacht won, and he clearly is bombed out of his mind from the celebration. And
I want to thank my wife Jane.
It's a lot of slurring and stumbling around. It's pretty funny because he's like, "I'll tell you, man, it's crazy," and you're just like, "Oh my god, he is." You just don't see that. That's the thing. I love a drunk media personality. Like you just don't see it because everything is so carefully cultivated. Drunk Joe Namath trying to kiss that sideline reporter. Amazing.
Oh, I've seen that one.
I want to kiss you. She goes, "What do you think about the game?" I want to kiss you. And she goes, "Yeah, well, that's nice, Joe. Do you think the Jets have a shot? Come on, just one kiss. Let me kiss you."
Oh, get a little something on, you know.
Oh, Broadway Joe. Let's see. But I also like, this is where Victor makes no sense to me, because he also is suddenly like, I guess I'll just get married and have a big celebration and forget that ever happened.
I know.
No one is acting normal.
As if he had forgotten the promise that the creature made.
I also love you have Clairval, who's so pissed because he's like, "You're the reason Justine is dead," and then literally the next scene he shows up to the wedding.
He's like, "Sorry,
I'm sorry about that. You know, I just was really mad because my girlfriend committed suicide and it was your fault. But you know, whatever."
I can't deny you happiness on your wedding day. That's for the creature to do.
This is where the movie's like, we just got to wrap this up. Whether or not this makes any sense for these characters to make these jumps, these are just where the story needs to go.
And we have neglected to say that this movie is narrated all the way through with it is Victor still on the ship.
Yeah.
Even though we're not seeing him, we do keep cutting back occasionally to the ship, but it is him just like going, and then everything got shitty and things were bad.
Well, and also he at the end of the movie he'll give the captain his diary of this story.
Yep, which is the book. That is something right out of the book.
Yeah, whatever, man. I mean, that's the thing.
He does die at the end of the book. He's like,
"Oh yeah,
make sure the story gets out," but it is a different ending. because the book is literally the people on the ship get away, and the creature is still out there on the ice. They see it.
Which is always
still alive.
That's always the better ending. The creature just on the ice.
Yeah,
you know,
left at the end of the world.
Yeah,
Love it.
He won't hurt anybody, but he'll never die, and he'll just be out there forever.
That's what I want.
Oh, that is still, none of them can match that haunting ending. Really, like that's the
no.
I mean, and spoilers, Brana does do that ending.
He does,
which I appreciate.
But it's you know, it's a Brooklynese creature, a tiny, short, little Brooklynese creature. The casting was all wrong, and I love De Niro as an actor.
I won't defend him as vehemently. No, I'll defend him in a similar. Well, we'll see when we get to it as Keanu. But it's another one where I think it is a miscasting. But goddamn, De Niro is doing the work and trying like nobody's business. It's just, it's a weird fit. It is a weird fit.
Mm-hmm.
I like him better than
that was
Randy
all
Quaid,
about
though.
a name. That was all about a name. That's
it was like this is a star-studded. But I do like him better than Randy Quaid. I mean, the material he's given is better.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Because I got to say, Randy Quaid's up there for worst monster.
This is terrible.
This is really bad.
Like I said at the top. This is embarrassing.
So he hears Elizabeth scream. He finds his father dead, but no time to deal with that because Elizabeth is dying. Victor, you got to have a scene where he dramatically rips open the gun cabinet so he can get a piece. And then, of course, he busts in and Elizabeth is dead. And then he's outside going, "I will find you, monster!" You know, I mean, once again, Patrick Bergin, it's not a lack of energy in this performance.
He saw that. He saw the Emmy.
Yeah.
It was like it was right in front of him.
You know, between takes, he's like, and the Emmy goes to Patrick Bergin.
Because he is literally shouting to God.
Oh, yes. He and Wicks are just going, "Oh my God, this is gonna make us. This is just
again.
You
can hear it. You can hear them clapping themselves on the back.
Oh my God, Patrick! I just saw the dailies. Oh my God!
Suddenly the creature's killed everybody. Elizabeth is dead. He's had it. He's gonna get that creature. And guess what? He literally says, "I will follow you to the ends of the earth."
But then first not cut to, because first we get this weird moment where the cops are like, "Yeah, you must have done it."
Oh, right.
Which is like,
right.
What a pointless beat to have the cops try to arrest him and then
totally
he escapes.
Pointless because it doesn't go anywhere. They're like, yeah, someone else killed all the people in your house on your wedding night.
Explain why all that blood's on you. And he's like, "Oh, well, look over there." And they take some shots at him. And he runs off into the distance, and then it comes back to, presumably, he ran from there to the Arctic.
Yep.
But that started this chase. And by the way, I think an interesting take on a Frankenstein movie, and screenwriters can have this, because I don't have the time to write this right now, but is just make it the pursuit of Frankenstein after the monster would be kind of an interesting movie. He's already made it, and turn it into like a chase thriller, because, and even do the stuff in the Arctic, because once again, the ideas are here. Like, I like the idea of them waiting and the creatures out in the dark and the ice. If this was a better shot, more evocative movie, that could be really scary. It could be a thing
that's why I do appreciate any adaptation that includes the bracketing, the book ending, because there's so much primal visual to be done with that. And it is, as you say, haunting. The ends of the earth. Yeah. Man versus his creation.
It's so epic.
In the desolation of ice.
It's so opera. And that is the thing, and I keep talking about it because it's coming, but that is the thing I do like about the Brana version, is it is operatic in nature. I think he does. Yeah. He captures the grandiosity of the story.
There are visuals that are very good in it, and at least one scene that I think is pretty damn awesome. Yeah, it's been a long time since I've watched
like we said, Brana. I mean, because Brana's good at that. He is good at operatic and larger than life. Yeah. That is what he's a very grand filmmaker.
I'm just saying, give me all 3.5 hours of his Hamlet. I fucking love it.
100% with you. I love that version. I mean, pretty much any of his Shakespeare movies really are great.
Yeah, but that was very divisive because it was so long, because he wouldn't cut it.
But I always respect it. It's like, I mean, parts of it don't need to be there, arguably, but he did it. There it is, a beautifully handsome version of the full play that exists now. I think that's, and fuck, that cast is incredible. My God, everybody in that is.
The only problem with it is he's too old for the part. All right, moving on.
But he is not alone in that. I feel like Hamlet, very few people have been even close to as young as I would want Hamlet to be.
But he's so good because he's fucking Kenneth Branagh.
Yeah, he's amazing. He's amazing.
All right, moving on.
So
they're in the Arctic.
They're in the Arctic now, and he goes, I need your help, Captain. We got to destroy this thing.
Yeah, this movie also keeps trying to. It did in the beginning, and every time we cut back to the ship, Patrick Bergin is all about. Unfortunately, the character Frankenstein has built up the creature, and then we've just watched him for almost 2 hours and go, this creature is Randy Quaid, and I'm sorry, I can't be afraid of him. But every time they come back to Frankenstein on the ship, he's like going, you don't understand. Yeah. He could destroy this ship with his bare hands.
Yeah.
He basically describes him like he's the motherfucking Hulk. But we have seen this movie.
Yeah,
We've watched him. And he's just Randy Quaid.
This was the part where I was thinking about that movie. I was imagining where I'm going like, dude, you are pitching an awesome monster movie, but that's not the movie I've been watching.
No, I know.
Because I also love the kind of John Carpenter's The Thing aspect of this. Now we got guys trapped in the ice. There's a monster out there that's going to get them. Like I said, I could imagine, a better movie where this is the whole third act of the movie is this we wait in the darkness for this thing. Because I do like when the sun comes up and they look out and the men are all slaughtered on the ice.
Well, that's the whole thing. And this is all an addition where
that's very cool.
It's Wicks going, I am going to stretch this out too, just like I did with the blind man. In this case, what I'm stretching out is the whole idea of I'm stretching out the stuff on board the ship. So the whole time that almost dead Frankenstein has told his story to the captain had already sent his men out because he was totally confident that his badass mercenary crewmen would be able to take down this creature. But Bergen's been trying to give him all these warnings and shit. So what happens is the men haven't been given all this information and we're just sent out. Mm-hmm. So when Frankenstein finds out from the captain that, dude, we sent those men out before dawn so they could go kill the creature, he's like, you idiot. You didn't listen to anything I said.
Once again, in a better movie, I would have been like, that's a cool scene. Because I do just like through the binoculars and the guys and the blood and the snow.
They're like, oh, there they are. I see the spots on the ice. And then they go, oh, shit. And then it is pretty effective, is that they're just wolves picking at the dead bodies of the men that were sent out. Yeah. Pretty good.
Pretty good. Almost. Once again, you're like, oh, you almost did it, Wicks. You almost did it. Not quite, though. Not quite.
But now the captain is truly scared because his badasses have been slaughtered. And he's like,
I was very surprised when the monster came on the boat. He said,
look at me. I'm the captain now.
Yeah, I'm the captain now. And I thought, is this where they got it from?
Yeah, that was, I did not, Tom Hanks goes, well, I'm just such a huge fan of that 92 Frankenstein.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine?
That I told Greengrass. Can you imagine
he's even aware of this thing? I love that. Oh, I'm a huge fan of the 92 Frankenstein.
The only thing I can imagine is Tom and Rita on a night at home watching about 20 minutes of this and going, hey, wait, what? This is kind of boring. Let's watch something else.
You know what? This was a mistake.
That's as much as I can imagine Tom Hanks interacting with this movie.
Yeah, I love Frankenstein movie. No, this isn't the one.
Yeah, because he is a big fucking nerd, Tom Hanks. You can hear his love of sci-fi and stuff. Big Trekkie. Which is always one of those things where I'm going, how have they not gotten him in something?
How have they not gotten him?
And he keeps talking about it. He goes, nobody ever calls me. He goes, I want to be a Star Trek captain or something. Get me in there. How is there not Admiral Hanks showing up in something? I just doesn't make any sense.
And he probably, because he knows how much money people spend to get him and things, he could literally just go, guys, don't worry about the cost. I just want to show up.
He showed up for one scene in that Yellowstone prequel just because he was a big Yellowstone fan.
Oh, I didn't know he did.
Yeah, he shows up just for one scene.
And he's still doing his Colonel Tom Parker accent?
No, he's playing General Sherman in a Civil War flashback.
Nice.
And it's good. It's a good choice. But that was literally just him going, I love your show, Taylor Sheridan. You got anything I could just do like a day? Yeah, and you know, work
if
for
Tom
scale.
Hanks says he wants to do something on a thing, you put him in there.
Well, it's the same thing when people ask him. They go like, would you ever do like a Marvel movie? He goes, why not? They never call me though. And it's just one of those things where he goes like, I don't have anything against that idea, but nobody ever calls me about stuff like that.
Now I will spend the time that we're off mic trying to think of the perfect Marvel character.
Correct.
For Tom Hanks at his age now.
Yeah. I mean, there's lots of those characters.
There has to.
All right. So, the men are slaughtered. And then we do get Randy Quaid leaping through the glass of the captain's cabin here into the ship.
Yep. He's like, surprise.
Surprise.
And almost dead.
And then this is where he goes, if you kill me, you kill yourself, because we are one man.
Yeah. We are two sides of one man, two halves of one man. And
I could just, can't you just see...
Could you be more on the nose?
Can't you see Wicks at his typewriter going, oh, two sides of the same man? And this is a guy who just directed Jekyll and Hyde. So, you know, he's going he's still going like, oh my God, it's all Jekyll and Hyde. I can't wait to give this to Michael, who will definitely do this movie.
I'm going to say this, and I don't know Mr. Wick. But this is such bullshit writing, and I say that as someone that has sold nothing.
Yeah.
But this is bullshit writing.
Yeah, this is bullshit writing. Is exactly.
Thank you. Okay, I feel better having said it now.
And so that stops the creature long enough for Victor to hurl himself at this thing.
Yes.
And take him into the icy cold water.
Essentially, the creature was taunting him like, you can't kill me, I'm fucking awesome. He goes, but we're the same guy, so watch this. Wacka wacka woo. Yeah. And he full-on body tackles the creature out of the
Which is
same
wild.
broken window.
Absolutely wild.
Into the water.
Yeah.
And it's a pretty nice shot considering a TV movie.
It's not bad for a Turner cable movie. Yeah.
But the two of them are locked in an embrace, like they're dancing as they sink into the frozen water.
Weird choice that they cued.
I also thought the kiss.
Yeah.
They didn't sell me on it. They didn't sell me.
No, they did not. You guys did not earn that kiss.
Didn't earn the kiss. But still, that's... Thank God, that is the end.
The end except
is
the captain going
picks
like...
up the thing like, oh.
And he goes, we're free to go home now, gentlemen. And then in voiceover he goes, and I turned over that diary to someone when I got back. I go, great, that's really what I needed to know.
I know you guys were worried. Don't worry.
Be happy. Weird choice of song at the end, too.
Actually, this is 92. It's not out of the realm of possibility.
And it's just the two bodies floating in the water of the... Dude.
In every life there comes some trouble. He's so great.
His credits roll as the
movie
bodies
ended with Bobby McFerrin.
Don't worry. I'll be happy.
Everybody, be happy now.
I will tell you, it would have left me with a better, more positive feeling at the end of the movie. I would have been like, oh, good. Yeah, well, I am going to be happy now that this
John, I'm
going to
ask you a question on behalf of myself and all of our listeners.
Yes.
Is this a hidden masterpiece?
No, but I do have one last review to share with you here to wrap things up. From a guy who very much thinks it's a hidden masterpiece. And I'm saddened by his username, because his username is SwampThing316. And I sure do love Swamp Thing, but I think Dr. Alec Holland is wrong about this. And his review is just titled, "This is the best version!" !
Holy shit.
This version of Frankenstein is the best. I won't even waste my time criticizing Branagh's version. Branagh's version stays with the book until it's time for the monster to kill Victor's wife. Then Branagh throws in this ridiculous resurrection scene, which was totally horrible. Branagh ended his movie exactly as the book ended, with the monster and his dead master floating away in a sheet of ice. This version of Frankenstein was made for TNT. It is one of the first original movies made for the network. Gettysburg prepared that same year. Yeah, yes.
Oh, Gettysburg.
I do remember watching Gettysburg on TNT, actually.
Yeah, me too.
My dad and I watching that. Anyway, this version stays pretty close to the basic plot of the book, but it adds a twist. The death of Elizabeth is exactly how she died in the book. The monster breaks her neck. The rest of the scene was different from the book. He's really fixated on that. That's what I love about this review. This film adds some new twists to the story that make it all the more interesting. William is a teenager in this version, not a child, and has a somewhat different role. This version remains pretty faithful to the basic plot of the book, not the details of the book like Branagh's attempt to stick to in his version, but pathetically failed at towards the end. I give this film 4 stars. Excellent viewing for a rainy day. I just love how he's just like, and fuck that Kenneth Branagh bullshit. We'll talk about it, but I actually, that's actually something I like in Branagh's version is the Elizabeth. Because I thought that was a nice consolidation.
That's one of the effective scenes I'm talking about.
Yeah, and but I thought that was also that's a good screenwriting consolidation of stuff that works.
That's a nod to Bride.
It definitely is.
I got no problem with that. And I know it's not in the book. It's okay.
But also, as we talked about, fidelity of the book cannot be the only barometer by which something is judged.
It cannot be the only barometer. You're absolutely right.
It can't be. And also, Mary Shelley's Frankenstein is great, but it's not the fucking Bible. You can go, oh, what if we did this wrinkle? It's the same thing with Stoker's Dracula. You can extrapolate things and borrow things and still be faithful to the book, at least the spirit of it or the larger strokes of it. I just like this guy's going, this version's better because Elizabeth dies correctly. End of story. That's the only note I have. And a giant middle finger to that talentless hack, Kenneth Branagh.
I can only assume that this reviewer, what was the name again?
Swamp Thing 316.
Swamp Thing 316. All I can assume is something is very wrong in the green, and I hope our Earth Elemental gets his shit worked out.
Oh my God, I'm looking at his other reviews because I'm always curious about that. This guy also loves Exorcist 3.
Oh my God!
He says.
Well, actually, I'd be more concerned if it was Exorcist 2. But
he says it's almost as good as the original. Damn close. God. And that Dolph Lundgren was the best Punisher. As another opinion.
We're done with him. Let it go.
Oh God. Okay. And I'm gonna have to make a note to read because he did write a very scathing review of the Branagh version that I'll have to read when we get to it. But we can
all right. Yeah. So bookmark that.
Yeah. Oh God, he has some terrible opinions because he likes
oh God.
Well, he's really raving about Highlander 3.
Whoa, this person.
Yeah. And he loves Superman Returns, which I actually like Superman Returns as well. But
I like a large amount of it, but was greatly disappointed.
That's not a surprise. But we've talked about it before too. All right, let's get the bad taste out of our mouth.
With, please.
Next week's movie. Oh, it's our first time talking about who I consider is one of the masters, if not, perhaps I might argue, in my opinion, the greatest horror director of all time. And it's the
Charles Band.
You got it. It is the weirdest movie that this is the first time we're talking about him, and it is John Carpenter's Memoirs of an Invisible Man.
Wow, it is weird that would be.
That's the first
for this
time.
Podcast. It makes sense. He doesn't do anything.
He doesn't. No, we're only doing 2 Carpenter movies because we'll also do vampires near the end of the season too.
Right.
Which is but those are kind of the only times he messes around with the classic monsters. He usually has stuff of his own creation.
Now,
but
based on my memories of this movie, I'm kind of looking forward to it. But here's one reason I'm very much looking forward to it is that it is not great. It is not a hidden masterpiece.
No.
But just a little break from the Draculas and the Frankensteins.
It is nice to have the Invisible Man back with us. And I remember liking it as a kid. I haven't seen it in a long time.
I doubt I've seen it since I saw it in the theater.
Yeah, I mean, but I was a big Chevy kid. I loved Chevy as a kid. So And then it was one of those things where it wasn't, as an adult, I later realized, oh, Carpenter directed that? It's a very strange Carpenter movie. As an entering Carpenter's franchise, this is totally Carpenter taking a paycheck for a studio.
Oh, yeah. This is him going, I still need money.
Yeah.
Oops.
And I don't think he's checked out. And if it does get him to work with Sam Neill, who he will later make In the Mouth of Madness with, which is a better movie. But I remember Sam Neill being good in it, so as he's great in everything. But I also remember this being
absolutely great. My favorite of all of the possible Damians.
Yes, agreed.
He's my favorite Damien.
Agreed. But I also remember this is near the end of Chevy's run, though, so I think we're gonna look at maybe not at the top of his game, Chevy. I don't remember if he's bad in it, but I do think this is nearing the end of his run.
Yeah, it is. And in fact, I think this is already considered a comeback for him. At this point, I think they were like,
because this is around the time
he's back.
He's making Cops and Robertsons and stuff like that. Oh God,
boy.
Yeah, Jesus Christ. I mean, that's the thing. Like I said, I was a huge Chevy fan as a kid, but I also was there for the downfall. And still saw everything, but was like, oh boy, yeah, he's oh God, Cops and Robertsons is after this, actually. Jesus Christ. Oh God, he's coming off of Nothing But Trouble is the movie he makes before Memoirs.
You mean Demi Moore's best film?
A spectacularly terrible movie. That movie is terrible in the most spectacular manner. So anyway, we'll talk about Memoirs of an Invisible Man next week on the show.
Word.
Should be an interesting conversation. But that is going to do it for this week's episode of Campbell and Jones Meet the Monsters. I'm John Campbell.
I'm Brendan Jones.
And remember, there are such things as monsters.
I have no home.